Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm going to try to reach Ham, but we'll let some people come on. I think I read this article to you before, but so I'm just going to read the last five paragraphs just for noise. But metals mania. Let me tell you who wrote this article. This is written by Adam Sharp. Adam Sharp, and his contention is at the end of his article. Metals mania starts at $3,000 gold. We are still very early on precious metals. Fed printing operations are now just about to start back up. Quantitative easing will eventually reignite, and the scale will likely dwarf previous episodes within a few years. So we're talking a nice long period of time. We're not talking about catching a short squeeze. Depending on who wins the White House, a stimulus program may be in the works as well. I think both when Kamala's president, she'll put out a stimulus program, and we've got 20 million people here who will become citizens, and she'll make sure they have money. So we're going to have a stimulus program. Gold and silver are absolutely crucial aspects of a modern portfolio and are still wildly underowned by investors. Now, I realize that it may seem, because you're seeing a lot of advertising for gold now, and maybe it seems to you I'm joining in. This has been my goal from when I first came onto this, is to make money in some of these other stocks and put it, for me, silver. But it hasn't turned out that way. I think a lot of the stocks we had to rely on CEOs being aligned with us, and they really aren't. CEOs are aligned with their wives' future, their daughter's future, and with their retirement plans and their healthcare plans and flying around the world. And if they can dye their hair black, they have other goals. So it hasn't quite worked out, but time's running out. I think we're on the verge of the first, the first stage of the last rally in the stock market. I think it's happening right now. And of course, the newspapers are telling you everything's going to be bad, the market's going to crash. You got to buy gold because the market's going to crash. What I respectfully submit is, first, a little Chi-Chi. I'm sure you've heard that joke. The plane that crashes in the jungle. Anyway, I'll leave that joke for those who have heard it. Gold and silver are absolutely crucial aspects of a modern portfolio and are still wildly underowned by investors. In the next 5 years, we will likely see a number of sovereign debt crises and sustained inflation above 10% in a number of countries, including here. The piles of government debt have simply grown out of control. Lower interest rates will cut the cost of debt servicing, but there's a good chance it will reaccelerate inflation. No matter which path the United States chooses, the piper will be paid for past excesses. Eventually, and this is the part I want to get across to you, now's the time to accumulate silver. It's already doubled, unfortunately, from where we could have bought it a year ago. But people still aren't really talking about it. There's skepticism. Silver's not going to do anything. It's too volatile. I want to be in gold. I want to be in Bitcoin. Silver's going to be the new Bitcoin. I'm not saying silver's going to go to 100,000. It might. At that point, if silver goes to 100,000 an ounce, at that point, it's because the dollar is being wheeled around in barrels. But I do think silver can go to 10,000, maybe even 20,000, maybe even 40,000. One for one with gold. Now's the time to accumulate it. It's so cheap. If you have the courage to go out and be first, you can buy it at $30, something that in a year or two might be $300 or sooner. It's about taking this worthless piece of paper that's called your paycheck, it's called your dollars, it's called your bank account, that as real estate keeps going up. I bought a box of Cheerios the other day of some other brand, Trader Joe's. I opened it up. It's $2.99 a box, so the price hadn't changed. But I opened it up. It was only 4/5 full. Maybe even worse than that. You know, it was barely above halfway full, the box. So inflation, your dollars don't go as far. And now's the time, and I actually think the dollar's probably going to go up next year, because we're going to have an economic crisis, a financial crisis next year. But I don't think you're ever going to see silver this cheap again. I really don't. Eventually, we will experience a true precious metals mania. This guy, Adam Sharp, says, I suspect it will begin when gold hits 3,000 and silver breaks out above 49.45. It's 1980 all-time high. All right, I was saying 48 to 50. That's a better number. 49.45. When it does that, everyone will be buzzing about gold and silver. Your friends, your neighbors, your colleagues, and it will be glorious. Women's, men's, children's. Fortunately, we are not there yet and still have time to prepare. We may still get a pullback in gold, but then again, we may not. I don't think gold's going to pull back right now. Gold is broken out, but I do see gold possibly, who knows? But I think gold goes to 3,000, 3,300, 3,500. Then it pulls back. And it comes back into this range, maybe. Maybe that's a trade that's worth playing. But so to put that differently, gold could go up 20% this year. Silver, I think, could triple this year. Certainly double this year. This year. And it has nothing to do with Lynn Partners or Jeff Easton, nothing. There are shorts in silver. But the key thing about silver, there is physical demand for silver. And there's physical supply. And that's crossing. Those lines are crossing. Apple Computer buys silver and puts it out in the backyard so they can make your computers. Dell Computer. Tesla telephones, Tesla cars, Ford Motor. They need the physical. They can't just get a promise to pay silver on the COMEX. And COMEX will start settling for cash, but that won't solve the shortage of silver. So anyway. All right, that's enough on that. Nothing's up today. That EBFI, whatever that is up. Fingers up a penny. Everything else is down. Let me see if there's any news. The place you should be watching is Russia. Okay, no war going on. No ramp up in the war, apparently. I guess Zelensky is here. And then in the Middle East, that's the other place that looks frightening. I guess I'll look at, you can't trust American sources of news, which is just an embarrassment. We used to have the premier news in the world until it got feminized. "10,000 cross-border attacks between Israel and Lebanon." Zelensky urges leaders to only accept real, just peace with Russia. That guy's a clown. Israel slammed for sending 88 unidentified bodies of Palestinians to Gaza. Anyway, nothing. Let's leave it alone because nothing is happening right now. Hezbollah fires missiles at Mossad headquarters. This is good news. China has test launched an intercontinental ballistic missile over the Pacific. Everything's great. Status quo, status quo, status quo. Vote for Harris. Status quo. Vote for Harris. She's our man. She'll keep everything just as it is. Yay, yay. Time for a female president who's Indian, Black, Asian, married to a white guy, grew up in a white country, grew up wealthy, is married to someone that has children, but she doesn't have children. She understands our experience, and she can talk to Xi and Putin. Man, gotta vote for her. This is the kind of thing. We'll be at war with Russia. Awesome. We'll be at war with Iran. Excellent. And China. We'll even be at war with China. Who could want for anything more? Who could want for anything more? I mean, imagine if the other guy got in. We might be at war with Timbuktu. We don't need more than 3 wars: Russia, China, and the Middle East. If we got the other guy, we'd probably be in a civil war. So let's just stick with the chick that got us here. I heard a young woman put it succinctly. If Trump was going to destroy our democracy and destroy our country, he would have done it in the first term. If Kamala was planning on saving our country, getting prices down, bringing us together, solving other crises, she would have done it in her first term. But anyway, let's go for her. Let's go for her. Man, can you imagine a world? Imagine a world. Kamala as your president, Walz as your vice president, Hillary Clinton back in somewhere, Janet Yellen, Treasury, women everywhere, and DEI everywhere. And oh, it'll be great. It'll be great. There won't be a bit of testosterone in the White House. But you don't want testosterone. You don't want men. You don't want men. Men are toxic. Just, we want joy. We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. And the da 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 da. I can't remember the rest of that. We had joy, we had fun. I can't remember the rest of that song. I think it was the #1 song that year, Nightmare. We had, that's it. Goodbye to you, my trusted friend. We've known each other since we were 9 or 10. Together we've climbed hills and trees, learned of love and ABCs, skinned our hearts and skinned our knees. Goodbye, my friend, it's hard to die when all the birds are singing in the sky. And now that the spring is in the air, pretty girls are everywhere. Think of me and I'll be there. We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. But the hills that we climbed were just seasons out of time. Goodbye, Papa, please pray for me. I was the black sheep of the family. I'm not getting the melody. You tried to teach me right from wrong, too much wine and too much song. Wonder how I got along. Goodbye, Papa, it's hard to die when all the birds are singing in the sky. Now that the spring is in the air, little children everywhere, when you see them, I'll be there. Goodbye, Michelle, my little one. Oh, that was a sad song. I don't want to read any more of it. EBFI is up 22 cents. So if they thought they could win, they go for a swim. 30 days, and what's his name's coming in. All right, so it's the Yankees, the Guardians, the Astros, and it looks like it'll be the Orioles, Tigers, and Royals. In the NL, it's the Dodgers, Phillies, Brewers, and it looks like for sure it'll be the Padres, maybe the Mets, maybe the Diamondbacks. I don't know. The Braves are still in the mix. And the Washington Nationals are at the bottom. Wow, the Rockies are not in last place. The Marlins are. All right, let me see if I can get Ham on. We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun.
Battery 100%. Connected to Bill's iPhone.
We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. But the hills that we climbed were just seasons out of time. All right.
Call ended.
He's not available. Goodbye, Papa. It's time to die. Buffett dumps more shares of BOA. Swell. If Hezbollah collapses, it opens the curtains, the show on Israel versus Iran. Swell. It's good. I'm glad we have adults in the White House. Despite tumbling mortgage rates, U.S. home sales dropped in August. Spain set to legalize 500,000 illegal immigrants. I think it's got to be bigger than what they're telling us. I think they've been, they being the people running our economies. It's not who we vote for, but I think they've broken the families apart. They've set men and women against each other. They're setting races against each other. But maybe that's the whole thing. You bring in immigrants, they're dependent on the government, and they don't have these instilled values of saying what you think. And they just set about doing work at low wages. It's all for the people at the top. While we hate on each other, we're just like the stock market. We're pretending that the United States is the country it was 40 years ago. It's not. It's not. We don't have real elections anymore. Kamala's going to be our president. The vote comes down to what? 5,000 people in Detroit and 10,000 votes in Philadelphia. They'll go for Kamala. They'll go for Kamala. The plywood will go up. The doors will be shut. The vans will come in late at night. And they'll tell us, hey, when you add up 73 million votes for Trump and 84 million for Biden, 81 or 84, and it adds up to more than the registered voters, it's perfectly normal. And if you challenge it, you are a conspiracy theorist. You are a bad person. I know what we can talk about. I wanted to show you this the other day and I forgot to. Let me show you. This is a gold fund that I highly recommend. It's run by John Hathaway. Let me see if I can get their top holdings. Let's see. Yeah, here. The Tocqueville Gold Fund. One reason to buy these stocks is money will start coming into this gold fund and other gold funds at rates where they can't they cannot invest it. They won't be able to invest it. How can I zoom in on this? Is there a way to zoom in? No. I don't know how to zoom in. So as the money comes in, these stock prices will go up. I think this is the best company, mining company right here, and Nico Eagle Mines. However, it's pretty fairly valued. I love Franco-Nevada. Detour. There's a muddy road ahead. Detour. Rand Gold. I can barely read these. I'm sure you're having an easy time. I don't know how to zoom in. There we go. How's that? So the Tocqueville Fund, the symbol on it, they've got 11 billion in assets. They rate themselves against the physical gold and silver, I guess. Is that the Philly XAU? I don't know. That you can tell me. But the symbol on this is, I don't see it. Anyway, it's the Tocqueville Gold Equity Fund. And I was there when it was a brand new fund. Here's its performance. Anyway, these are the stocks. This is a good place to start if you're looking to buy mining stocks. Newmont Mining, NEM, Oceana Gold. I don't know much about that. Pan American Silver. Just that alone, if you're looking for a silver company, the fact that it's in a portfolio like this, that buying is going to come to it. So Pan American Silver would answer the question of which silver company to buy to me. Alamis Gold, I met the CEO. Alamis Gold is fantastic. The CEO is fantastic. Torex Gold Resources, I don't know anything about. Rand Gold, excellent. But Franco-Nevada, Premier. Anaco Eagle Mines, Detour Gold Group. These are their top 10 holdings. I'm sure they own more than just that. And then I talk about this a lot. This is the Sprott Physical Silver Trust. It's now V's 11.19. Since I first started talking to you guys about it, it was $8. It was $8. That's not a year ago, but 10 or 11 months ago. It's $8. Here's how you can purchase it. It's a closed-end trust which invests in unencumbered and fully allocated London good delivery silver bars. The goal is to provide a secure, convenient, and exchange-traded investment for investors who want to hold physical silver. They have gold right here. If it'll click, I guess it won't. All right. Okay, there it goes. The Gold Trust, which is trading more in line with its NAV. Same idea. Gold has surged above the psychological 2,500 level. And then they have platinum and palladium for John. I don't know why it takes a while to click. Anyway, there's a platinum palladium fund, there's a uranium fund, and a copper fund. All right, here's the platinum. So this is kind of a one-stop shop for physical metal if you want to trade it in the market. The ETFs, I'm not sure I'm spelling that correctly. Okay, so this is the Van Eck Junior Miners. Look at the I mean, it's too bad we didn't buy it back in here, $27. Too bad we didn't buy it here, $32. But at $50, it's still not at its all-time high of 60. Okay, the junior fund. Let's see who their holdings are. This is the ETF. This is the junior miners. Okay, look at this. This is the Van Eck GDXJ, Alamis Gold. Do you notice it was in the other fund I mentioned to you, Tocqueville? But here again, Pan American Silver Corp. As money floods into these ETFs, these are the stocks that are going to go up. This is, now I'm forgetting who said it. It's not Barbara. Was it Michelle? Anyway, Harmony Gold, there it is. Evolution Mining, I like them. Don't know a lot about them other than I like them. I don't know B2 Gold. Hecla Mining, I like them. Endeavor Mining, we talked about yesterday. Zhaojin Mining, Osico Gold, Equinox. Anyway, these stocks, as money flows in, will go up as the Van Eck Gold Miners goes up. But let's just look at the Van Eck gold mining. All right, here, let's find Gold Miners Trust. Now let's look at some of the names there. See, they have Anaco Gold. Now they have Newmont. They have Barrick, Wheaton Precious Metals. Oh man, you got to own that one. Franco Nevada. But then they have Xinjiang Mining Group, Northern Star, Anglo Gold, Kinross Gold, Royal Gold, Alamis Gold. It's less, well, there they have it. They have Harmony Gold, Evolution, Endeavor, Zhaojin, Hecla. So my point here is the junior miners overlaps quite a bit with the gold mining fund. Let's go back to the junior miners. If I can. Here, okay. Let's go to the bottom of their holdings list. See if I recognize any of these. All of these are good to dabble with, but go with the first tier first, and you'll have time to roll down, maybe. I don't really know a lot of these names. Vizsla Silver. Skeena Resources, Nova Gold. There's our Nova Gold. Seabridge Gold, a long time. That's an old friend. Here's Fortuna Silver Mines. Aya Gold and Silver. Aya means light in Arabic. I think it means light in Arabic. might mean love. I think it's light. All right. Anyway, let's leave that alone. Let me go back to the stream. I'll take this out, remove it, and we're there. All right, let me see what people are saying. Hey, Zizu, good morning. Hey, Darren, good morning. I called Ham. My fault. He called me, it looks like 3 times this morning. I didn't pick up. I was doing things. And my phone was over on the charger, which is now here. But anyway, hey, Cliff. Hey, Henry Perez. Hey, Frank. Hey, 473 VR Greens. Nunya. AC Parker. Appreciate you. I'm real appreciatory. Good morning, Nunya. Hey, the one, in my opinion. First Majestic's very good. I think, I don't know, the best one. Yeah, I would go with that. But I really like Wheaton Precious Metals. It used to be called Silver Wheaton, and but now they're in all the metals. But they got their start in silver, and its income streams spread across a lot of mines. They give money, and then they get an override or they get a working interest in various income streams. So I really like Wheaton Precious Metals. Any gold miner is going to bring up silver, and that's true of most metals that are mined. Silver is pretty much everywhere, but it's just not a large percentage. Hey, John Doe. This was the general consensus years ago. Yeah, I believe that I aligned my life to gold and silver 15 years ago, after studying it for about and trading it for about 5 to 10 years. So you're absolutely right. But if you learn one thing about consensuses, they're usually wrong. And it was a Majestic wrong. I think the reason for it is no one predicted Bitcoin. I did, because I was listening to Max Kaiser in London, but I didn't time it right. I thought, okay, silver will go first, then there'll be time to go in, and I got that wrong. Bitcoin went first. I think it sucked up a lot of the excess liquidity, and all the other ones. I mean, there's dozens, hundreds of them. And so that money normally would have gone to gold and silver. It did not. It went to the things you could click on your phone, Doge and other names. Could that happen again? Sure. But whatever. I mean, if you don't believe gold and silver is going to be the place to be, stick with Bitcoin and Ethereum and others. But just prepare to get out of the dollar. Now, Media Junkie, when I'm talking about, I just to be clear, because I don't know if I've emphasized it, I think the stock market in general is going to go up 50% from here, 30 to 50%, depending on the index. You're going to see in the next 3 to 5 months movements to the upside in the market in the United States that normally takes 1 or 2 decades to see, in my opinion. in my opinion. This is going to be the last blow off top, and it's going to be the last time that you are going to want to talk about being in the stock market. We're going to shift from set it and forget it investing to having to know different stocks, different industries, and you can make money in that. But indexed investing will be shunned. Next year, I think the stock market, my opinion, and I've said this now for about 20 some years, and I'll look like an idiot if I'm wrong, but I think we're going to round trip. I think the Dow will round trip, NASDAQ will round trip. Question is, how low can it go? I wouldn't be surprised to see the indexes correct 90%. 90% down. The everything bubble is going to go the other direction. So where do you want to be during those times? Yeah, that was the consensus years ago. So therefore, it frustrates me so much. If you want to be part of the asses, who are the masses, who are asses, go ahead. If you want to be part of the sheep, be part of the sheep. But I don't even think that I'm really being all that radical telling you right now that gold and silver, the other metals, uranium probably, are where you need to be. They're going to be volatile. They're going to go up and down. But I think gold this year will go up 20 or 30%. I think silver can triple, certainly double this year. But then next year, at some point, people are going to realize that the world's in trouble. And I think the stock market, I don't know if it'll be next year or the following year, but I think there'll be a hard landing in the markets. And in that time frame of that crash, everything will be for sale and gold and silver will come down. But will it come back to these levels? But if you want to be part of the consensus, buy NVIDIA. And if you're uncomfortable, probably being early, but I don't think so. I guess the reason I keep bringing it up every day now, we're in September, vacation's over, the Fed cut rates 50%. They're going to cut rates another 50% this year. They're going to cut rates 100% next year. And that's probably the beginning. Now, I do think the dollar is probably going to, after weakness now, I think in a financial panic, the dollar's going to go up. And I think surprisingly, because I really thought that interest rates were, because inflation is high. But it looks like we're going into stagflation. It looks like interest rates are headed downward. We'll find out. I mean, that's the risk. The Fed, no one may trust the Fed. The Fed really doesn't control the bond market. But Chinese bonds are down. Our bonds are down. And, maybe a place for money is in treasuries, short-term treasuries, maybe longer-term treasuries. One more time. Maybe CDs. But over the next year or two, 3 years, the consensus may disagree with me. And maybe I'm going to be part of the consensus. I don't know. But I think the wise investor will treat herself as a central bank and start getting out of reserves in dollars and moving to reserves in gold, silver. I would argue we're not allowed to do it, but maybe the ruble, countries where there is growth ahead. But anyway, treat your financial house as a central bank. And I think the number one thing that most central banks are doing right now is accumulating gold. Hey, Connie Liv. Hey, Barbara L. Hey, Barbara L. USA, USA, USA. Which would you buy, junk silver or silver rounds? Of those two, I don't think it matters one bit. I would buy, if you don't own a lot of silver, I'd buy the one that allows you to buy the most silver. So if junk silver right now is cheaper than silver rounds, buy junk. Silver rounds, silver rounds are recognizable by you. They won't be recognizable by everyone. So if you really want to be kind of with the masses, buy the silver dollars and the silver loonie and the silver Australian, I forget what they call that down there, or the harmonic, the silver harmonic, I think it's called, Austrian. But if you buy the maple leaf out of Canada or the silver dollar here, the dollar coin, the eagle, the silver eagle, that's probably where the scramble's going to be. But there's a premium on those, as you know. The premium's quite large per ounce. So all in, if you don't have a position in silver, that's my favorite, but gold's okay, palladium, platinum, buy junk, buy silver rounds, buy the eagle coins that are out of the box because there's not a premium. But and by the way, if you can resist opening the packages that you buy, you might like yourself later on, because in a mania or in a short-term rally, when you call in to sell, they're going to say how much, what is it? They'll give you a price. It's good for 24 hours, 48 hours, and you overnight it to them. If they have to count it in the middle of a mania, it could be weeks before you see your money. But if you have not opened the bag of junk silver and it still has its seal, they'll get your money to you in probably within 3 days, and it'll be wired back to you. But all in, I'd have to look at the prices. My answer, junk silver or silver rounds, I buy the one that allows you to get more silver. Junk silver, by the way, all in, has an advantage over any other silver in that if we have a societal breakdown, if you need to get out of Dodge and the ATMs don't work and there's rioting in the streets and people are crashing into homes to break into refrigerators, and you need to load up your Volvo, that no one drives a Volvo, load up your, I don't know, SUV. If you go to the gas station with a silver round, the woman behind the counter is going to say, "What the hell is that?" Well, that's an ounce. She's going to say, "I don't believe you." And you're going to say, "Well, I need 10 gallons of gasoline." And she's going to say, "I don't have change. Give me 10 of those." But if you have junk silver, I don't know the percentages of silver in a quarter or a $50 or in a dime, but by the time life is like that, you'll know it. You can go up to her and say, "Look, I'll give you 10 silver dimes," and she'll give you change. You give her 2 50-cent pieces, she'll give you change. So that's an advantage of junk silver over silver rounds. The silver rounds come from mints, and as you buy silver, you'll start recognizing some of the mints, but the general public will not. They'll recognize dimes, they'll recognize quarters, they'll recognize 50-cent pieces. And in a panic, that could help you get out of town. That could really help you get out of town. The other thing that'll help you is if you have gold jewelry. It doesn't have to be fancy, but if you have gold necklaces, bracelets, chains, rings, you can get that out of your neighborhood pretty quickly too, and it has a lot of value. All of this comes with the risk of being robbed, of course, but I can't give you a perfect solution. Hey, not legal advice. Can rats swim? Everyone terminated. Yay! Not legal advice. Everyone terminated. That's great news. Maybe lawyer news soon. Desperation evident. That's awesome, Richard. That's awesome. Everybody terminated at GTII. We've got a good receiver. Lawyer news soon. Desperation evident. All you need to do is put a company in there and maybe something happens. That's great news, not legal advice. Mr. Magoo is doing what? I called him. He'll call me back. I think he's mad at me, or he's on somebody else's call maybe. MLGO doing pretty well today. Good morning, Frank. Hey, Donna. It's not Lebanon, it's Hezbollah. It's not Lebanon, it's Hezbollah. Yeah, that's true. I guess they're going after Hezbollah, but I don't know, not legal advice. Hezbollah runs the place. They're everywhere. They're not just soldiers. They're policemen and other things. That's our spin on it. But we don't know. We don't know for sure. I don't know. I'll say it differently. I don't know for sure. Hey, John. You all right today? You all right? You all right? You all right? Hey, John. She's a disaster. No, she's our next president. Get used to it. The other guy will likely give Russia and China what they want. Yeah, let's not go for peace. Let's not give Russia or China what they want. Let's ramp it up, Dean. Let's ramp it up. You know, the sad thing, there's a book by Barbara Tuchman called Guns of August. There's other books. But if you read that, and I read it a long time ago, so I'm not going to be able to give you any detailed memory. But World War I did not need to happen. But it was young guys like you with idiot comments like that that said, let's go to war. They promised the war would be over in a matter of weeks, no more than 3 months. And it destroyed an entire generation of Brits, and it gutted Germany, and Frenchmen. And for what? But we seem to forget that war is the ultimate atrocity. It gains nothing. It changes nothing. And at some point, we have to give Russia and China what they want anyway. It's called peace negotiations after one side is victorious. But We won't take over Russia. We won't take over China. We might lose. We don't even have the capacity to build jeeps, tanks, missiles in size, aircraft in size. We don't have the industrial capacity. We don't have the army. But you want us to go to the brink of war? The only option is launch the missiles. Who's going to win? I don't know, Dean. I'm old enough that I'd like to live a lot longer, but it's your planet, Dean. If that's what you want, go for it. Hey, Morty. Biden is president? You really think that? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Hey, Donna. Joy, pain, sunshine, rain. I like that. You should write, what are those little poems that are 3 lines long? Joy, pain, sunshine, rain. You just write joy, pain, sunshine, and rain. And then underneath, write growth. And you got a poem. Joy, pain, sunshine, and rain, growth. And you got a poem, a haiku. A critical piece on finger motion. Interesting. They must. We must be over the target a bit. What's finger motion doing? You know, the Chinese stocks have suddenly had a rally, but of course, finger motion is an American stock, so why would it go up? But we'll see. It might follow through. I'll try to find that Seeking Alpha piece. I used to be a member. I don't know if I'll get it, but I'll try. Once Sam comes on, maybe I can print it out. Hey, John. When finger dividend is approved, what would you sell first, the dividend or the stock? The diamond or the rose? I think both of them will move. I think it won't matter. It's, your situation is your own, but the dividend's for free. Early on in its existence, the dividend will mostly be time premium. So that will be overvalued. And that's something you could sell and turn into more stock. As the stock rallies, if it does, the premium on the dividend will narrow and the real value of the dividend will increase, but there still should be time premium. Your cost basis on the dividend is 0. So you're going to have to pay taxes, and it's short term. I assume your finger is mostly long term. I guess, not knowing your situation, I would be, and you need to sell something, I'd be inclined to sell your long term, high cost finger shares first. I don't know the ticker for the Tocqueville Gold Fund, but it's Tocqueville, like the guy that wrote about Tocqueville, the Frenchman who wrote, I forget the name of the book, about the spirit of the United States of America. And on the Van Eck Gold Fund, right now I'm forgetting the symbol, but it's Van Eck Gold and the Van Eck Junior Miners. You can just Google it and the symbol will show up. What did Seeking Alpha say? Probably, let me see if I can find it. I really don't know if I'm going to be able to, but I might. I don't see the app here. Oh, there it is. The app for Seeking Alpha. And I guess my I got to put in my password if I can remember it. Yeah, I'll do that. That's not it. Okay. All right, let's see if that works. Yes, it's me. Okay. Okay, welcome back, it says, but I don't want premium because I hate debits to my account. All right, let's look up Finger. Finger motion, the bear case. Let's read it. If I'm not promising you I can do it. Okay, looks like I can. It's written by Michael Dion. He did that before, this guy. He's got 514 followers, more than I do. So his summary is Finger Motion's core telecom business collapsed. What he's talking about there, as you know, because you're the informed shareholder, is that in the second quarter, it's not telecom business, it's minutes. I guess you can call that telecom. Telecom implies a much more sophisticated thing. Minutes, phone minutes. There was some regulatory something. They had to move their revenue from top-up minutes to the MMS messaging. Luckily, they had that. I can understand why that would cause a little trepidation, but my memory is those minutes are coming back. That revenue is coming back. Certainly should. It's not, it was a one-off. But if you want to believe this guy who's designed to scare you, and he's showing that he has a puny brain, because he's not going to explain that to you. But anyway, the core telecom business collapse. That's the top-up minutes. They're one of several companies that are allowed licensed that can buy minutes at a discount and resell them. Yes, they reported it. Well, you don't need Michael Dion to report it to you, but Martin Shen came on here on the interview here and said that's a one-off. The spigot's back on, and it's the safest business they have. And the demand for minutes doesn't change. And then he says, and new businesses are not able to make up the shortfall. That's actually a lie. For that quarter, the text messaging business, MMS, SMS, made it up exactly. But where that could be more valid is my memory is the text message business they don't want to focus on. They're moving over to RCRM, rich content messaging. So how often could they pull that pony out of the stable. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. The company's moving to high margin business. They want to be in RCM, the rich content, the phones, the telegraphs, the towers are all 5G now. So they're moving there. And it's not true the other businesses aren't replacing it. It's also not true that the telecom business, it has remained collapsed. So he's lying, to put it bluntly. The company is facing a cash crunch. Well, there's no evidence of that. He's just making that up out of whole cloth. The company just, according to Ham the other day, withdrew its contract with Univest. That's what Ham said yesterday or day before here. So why would they do that if they are facing a cash crunch? It's not true. This is a lie. But they need money probably to expand the contract for building out those vehicles. So my guess is you're going to see an announcement of a financing. The Univest deal was a 2-year deal, and any financing had to go through Univest. Well, either side could cancel it with 30 days notice. Why would you cancel it? Yeah, you're right. You would cancel it because one would think, they have another financing deal lined up. It's not with Lynn Partners. What if it's with a wealthy investor, a wealthy group of investors, and it's debt and it's not stock? What if it's that? The company is facing a cash crunch, and historically, management has issued shares to fund the company, further diluting investors. That's just hogwash. This guy Seeking Alpha should not publish this article. When you issue more shares, it can be a sign of dilution, but it can also be a sign of growth. Companies need to issue shares to raise money. It's how the money is used. I almost don't want to read the rest of this because this is just crap. It really is crap. He's either unintelligent or a liar, and he's probably both. The one business carrying the company is a highly competitive industry and fully reliant on third parties to succeed. I don't know which one he's talking about. Maybe SMS. I lower my rating. From hold to strong sell. Well, let's take a picture of that, Michael Dion. We'll see where we are in 6 months. I am updating my previous analysis. Yeah, it's real. It's a real anal cyst on finger motion. I previously rated finger motion a sell for the following reasons. Well, then how are you moving your rating from a hold to a strong sell when you previously rated it as sell? I saw too much potential to rate it as sell and too much risk to rate it a buy. Good man. You're a good man, Michael Dion. And a good man has got to know his limitations. On the sell side, the core business continued to struggle and pressure cash flow quarter after quarter. On the buy side, political risk was easing, and 2 growth businesses had significant potential. Since then, finger motion is down 34%, which Michael Dion is paid for by the shorts, in my judgment. But to be fair, I think you can argue reasonable men and women can argue what should be a market cap for a company that has yet to gain purchase in some of its big areas. Everybody can see it differently. Since then, finger motion is down 34%, while the S&P is up 7%. Do you know most stocks in the S&P? I don't know about right now, but most stocks were flat to down. It was just 7 companies that drove the S&P up. But hey, not for nothing, meaningless comparisons aside, I guess what he says is truthful. Unfortunately, it looks like the bear case risk scenario I discussed is playing out. Any idiot can write a report and I have to read it. This guy is a bleeding idiot. Finger Motion's telecom business went off the rail, falling from 12 million to near zero. It wasn't telecom, or at least my understanding of the definition of telecom. It was top-up business. It was minutes. Minutes. And then he admits, with SMS and MSS business picking up 2/3 of that. In addition, the big data business went to zero and little revenue was coming through from growth. Well, number one on this sentence, as he calls it, the telecom business, the minutes business, it didn't fall off the rails. For 1 quarter, it was delayed for some reason I can't remember. I wish I could remember. I just can't. But that'll come back. There's no reason why it won't. Now, he doesn't mention it, but I'm not sure SMS and MMS is going to remain up because they're not going to focus on it. It's low margin, and they're moving to the rich content messaging. So I expect SMS and MMS to go down. Of course, they'll be negative about it. And it's low margin. Anyway, the big data went to zero. Well, I'm not sure big data had anything in it yet. Anyway, and little revenue is coming through from growth. I don't know. I don't think that's true either. Revenue is coming from growth, but it's not big yet. It's not big yet. The company is almost out of cash again. I don't know how he knows that. And has historically been financed by issuing stock and diluting shareholders. Okay, they issued stock. They did an offering at 1.5, I don't know, a month ago to insiders. I think it was about 300, 500, $600,000. I don't know if they raised the full $2 million they were looking for. So I don't think they're out of cash. This guy has no understanding of what dilution versus accretion means. And if he's such an idiot, which I contend he is, I contend that Michael Dion is stupid and is paid off by the shorts. I contend that Michael Dion is criminal. It's in my opinion. When you break the law, you're criminal. But when you say something that's so obviously false, it shouldn't be printed. But the company has about 55 million shares outstanding. They bought back their deal from Lynn Partners. So there is no further dilution, and they had to fight for that. There's no further dilution coming from a toxic convertible note. Where the heck does the guy want the company to come up with money? Selling blood? They got to sell stock. But what do you get in return for that? You know all the keys to their future growth. So it's not dilution. Does it mean more shares? Sure, but Would you rather that they sold 1 million or 2 million shares at these low prices that are manipulated by Michael Dion, or that they were selling hundreds of millions of shares in a toxic convertible note to get Lynn Partners and their clients out of trouble? I'd say the company is decidedly behaving in a non-dilutive way. The one growing business driving 90% of revenue is also entirely reliant on third parties. Unless everything goes perfectly in the next few quarters, shareholders have little chance of seeing a return. Well, we'll remember that, Michael Dion. You finally have the balls to make a prediction, but it's your opinion. It's not factual. I lower my rating from finger motion from hold to strong sell. From 2007, Cash Crunch keeps diluting shareholders. From 2017 through now, finger motion has yet to drive profit. Well, that's not a full sentence. They are driving profit. They just haven't experienced positive. Look, I think by the end of this year, beginning of next year, my bet would be on the beginning of next year, finger motion is finally going to turn positive in earnings. There will be guidance so we can predict earnings. And as soon as earnings become repeatable, you've got a different stock. Now, I'm not saying that's going to make it squeeze all by its own some. Operating cash flow has continued to get worse as net income drops and net operating assets fall further. He's blending all sorts of crap together here. Operating cash burn has continued to get worse. As compared to what? As compared to what? COVID? Economic shutdown? It's not an accurate statement. Net income drops. Well, he's focusing on low margin businesses. Net income drops. All startup companies, you're trying to build your business, you're trying to build your revenue. It's not about income. Net income can be offset with losses from the past. It's not, the issue isn't net income. It's growing, predictable, repeatable revenue that turns into cash flow that then turns into profit. Oh my gosh, the company made worrying working capital choices over the last two periods as accounts payable turned sharply positive, financing some of the loss. Oh, that's worrying. When Michael Dion worries, people listen. Each time the cash balance dips, the company has historically issued common stock. All right. Each time your balls itch, you scratch them. I mean, what? What does it mean, Michael Dion? The last issuance was worth 12.1 million in 2023 and has already run out. What was it spent on, Michael? Was it spent on these new contracts? Did they use the money, Michael, which you lied? Did they buy minutes? That money they've applied to buying minutes has not disappeared. It's just delayed. This is all false. Michael Dion, you're a liar. Michael Dion, you are a liar. Given the low share price, this presents a high risk to investors. Well, yeah, it's a high risk stock. It's a risk, particularly when it's under attack by criminals like Michael Dion. Everything's in my opinion. Everything is in my judgment, and it's editorial. Whole video every time I speak. As the share issuance would have to be significant. Well, remember, Michael Dion, they no longer have a deal with your associates at Lynn Partners or Benchmark. They no longer have that deal. So, Michael Dion, you're saying they need more capital based on what? Do you talk to the company? Are you privy to material, non-public information? Or you just don't know what the heck you're talking about? Just making it up. Well, what if they raise $5 or $10 million from a high net worth individual in a convertible bond? Will that change your story, Michael Dion? Lazy, incompetent, lying, colluding criminal that you are. Debt financing at current market interest rates is not a much better scenario if they could even get financing approved. What completely non sequitur. Where the hell does that come from? I hope you're already married, Michael Dion, because you'll never attract a woman in your life. Not with this idiocy. Given the cash crunch, I would have expected, you would have expected, oh haughty, oh high, Lord Dion. I would have expected some type of cost control. Oh, wouldn't you have? Cost control. They're just profligate in their spending. My gosh, Michael. You've nailed it, Michael. A guy that writes for Seeking Alpha. Amazing. Amazing. He's gotten it. It's all about cost control. Why didn't they think of that? But I actually saw the opposite as G&A expenses rose 38%. Michael, did you look into the expenses? They're not flying down to Puerto Rico and going to the casino. Driven by a 26, I can't read it. I think it says 26% increase in salaries and wages and other, more than doubling. I don't know what other is, but an increase in salaries and wages of 26%, by the way, doesn't seem that high. But what you leave out here is it because they hired more people? It's a crap analysis. As management continuously discussed, the new lines of business were more profitable. On top of a cash crunch, I question the significant increase in discretionary spending. Thank you for questioning, Michael. I question your integrity. I question the purpose of writing this. I suggest that you're colluding and being paid off by the shorts, illegal shorts. But who am I to question you, Lord Dion? Contract revenue isn't coming through. Oh my gosh. All you can really say, Dackhead, is contract revenue up until now doesn't seem to have come through. You can't say it isn't coming through because you don't know. You're talking about something that happened 6 months ago. You just don't know what the hell you're talking about, Michael Dion. Finger Motion has had several big announcements over the last few years, including the following. He picks 3. I know from looking, there's been dozens of announcements over the last 3 years. He picks 3. Expanding usage of the Daji app by partnering with Zhangzhou YKC and Shanghai Anyo charging technology to allow consumers to use more than 400,000 electric vehicle stations. Yeah, that's there. That's no more than swiping your card. It's like the small amount of money that's made on a debit card by Visa. But it's there. It's revenue. Partnership between Sapientas, which is Finger's big data platform, and Pacific Life Re for insurance valuation. That's not it. I mean, maybe that one announcement said valuation, but they intend to sell insurance. But anyway, he goes with the low end. Partnership between Sapientas and Munich Re to model morbidity and behavioral patterns. That's the initial stage. He's intentionally ignoring that those are the first steps, the insurance valuation and the modeling. And they built a laboratory, they've hired scientists, they have access to all the data of the telecoms. That's a prelude for selling insurance and earning a fee for analyzing that data. But he doesn't want you to focus on that. He looks backwards because that's where his ass is. Despite this, the collective revenue impact of these businesses can't be more than 211,000. What does that mean? Number one, you don't know, so you're just guessing. They can't be. And number two, you're looking backwards. Let me give you a hint, Michael Dion. Stop looking at your ass. It's really unattractive. The big data segment has fallen to no revenue recorded, and telecom products and services combined is down to the remaining 211. Okay. This guy's, it's not worth reading this, so I'll keep doing it. China went through a lockdown and Finger Motion kept moving forward. Finger Motion went under full-scale attack by Benchmark criminals and Lynn Partners criminals and Lynn Partners clients criminals. And fought to buy back the toxic convertible note. And they did in full. That's not a sign of a company in trouble. That's a sign of a company making revenue. But Michelle Dion, they are working with Pacific Re and with Munich Re to turn that into monetization of that data. I mean, you've left out one obvious setback they had, which was the in the insurance area. I'm having a hard time remembering it. They put on the back burner one of their insurance products for the time being. You could have mentioned that, but because you don't know anything that you're talking about and you're lazy, you didn't. You'd have to be on firmer ground on the I can't remember it right now. As we go, I'll remember it. Management stated in the earnings release that these businesses would contribute meaningful revenue by the end of the year. Well, by the way, that release was 2 months ago. So thanks for getting off your rear end and writing a report. But after 3 years of promises and a very challenging revenue story coming into fiscal 2025, they're already in. They are already in their fiscal 2025. What do you mean coming into it? They're in it. I do not believe this can be relied on. What, that they're saying that it's meaningful and you're just making a guess because of your brains, your skills, your expansive experience? Michelle Dion? the one growing business, SMS and MMS, now represents 97% of the business is entirely reliant on third parties. You've said that now 3 times. Number one, I don't think that is a growing business. I think that business came to the rescue in that quarter, but I do not think Finger Motion intends to grow the SMS and MMS business. I think that business is there. It's texting. You sell packages to businesses. BMW buys a package and they bomb all the telephones. Come in and you can buy the new convertible BMW, with free radial tires, free stereo, and free mats. I don't know, whatever the deal is. But now they're gonna go on the higher, more powerful, rich content messaging where they can have videos to do the same thing. So SMS and MMS is not a growing business. They're not going to focus on it. So you don't know what you're talking about, Michelle. Now it represents 97% of the business and is entirely reliant on third parties. This is challenging for a couple of reasons beyond just diversification. First, the margin is not great, despite with management may be saying in earnings. I read it as it's written. The margin is not great, despite with management may be saying in earnings. Management's never implied that SMS and MMS has high margin. Michelle. Never. In the last reported quarter, SMS ran at a 6% gross margin, barely better than the 4% margin of the business it is exiting. And they're not exiting top-up minutes. They're not exiting top-up minutes. This is just horse manure. Total horse manure. I've tried to write a report to Seeking Alpha before. They rejected it. They want liars like Michelle Dion. Make no mistake of it. Michelle Dion is a liar. This is also a heavily fragmented industry with relatively low barriers to entry. Hence why they don't focus on it. They're moving out of the text messaging business into rich communications. The 9 providers shown below from 2023 are largely indistinguishable from one another, and this list doesn't even include Finger Motion's company. He gives a picture of a bunch of the top SMS providers. Good job, Michelle. This product also operates entirely using third-party telecom provider networks, not on Finger Motion's assets. This leaves the business and its profitability subject to market pricing, the willingness of telecoms to sell access at desired quantities, and the risk of outbid or pushed out by exclusivity deals. This guy not only is a liar and an idiot, he can't even write an English sentence. Whatever. Upside potential. The upside potential for Finger Motion is that the growth businesses start to take hold, either Daji or Sapientus, and rapidly scale revenue while also generating positive cash flow to prevent further dilution. I ran a scenario. Thank you, Michelle. I can't wait to see your scenario. I mean, if you did it, it's got to be useful. I ran a scenario on what would be required to be at break even by the end of the year. And it requires a 57% growth rate quarter over quarter. Really? We'll see. So he gives a list on revenue, and he sees, it's hard to read, but he sees that the company needs fourth quarterly revenue at 32 million. Oh, let's see. Cost of revenue, not because he knows what the hell he's talking about, but he says cost of revenue he estimates at 30 million. Oh, we'll see. He does give a gross profit, but then he just throws in total expense number, and he gets operating income as 0. Well, number one, this isn't.
Call from Andy.
Hello?
Something I don't even know.
What'd you say?
Are you live?
Yes, I'm live.
Well, let's go. Come on.
You're on.
All right. I spoke with everyone about. I did my own call with him. I had to get it out there. These guys were spoofing 88,000 shares. I busted them on it. I wanted everybody to know spoofing is a criminal offense. I took a photo of it because these jerk-offs think I'm not following them. And I followed all their trades. So I put it up. I caught him spoofing. I sent it to the DOJ, the FBI, and the SEC. All right. Spoofing is a federal crime. All right. I told everyone, and everyone on your call, I told the same thing. Go to your machine and go into, if you got 5,000 shares, go put it in there. You want to sell 88,000 shares. They'll never accept the order. The only people that can do this is ones with the market maker exemption. All right. No one is long the stock that's selling at 88,000 shares, trying to spoof it just so they don't sell it. If you put 88,000 shares out there for sale, William, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go offer 1 penny below you. And I'll sell my stock there. And if it goes down, I make money on the short side. If it goes up and I sold it, I can just turn around and buy it back and lose a penny. What's the big deal? That's why people don't do that. So I wanted everybody to understand that. And that's why I tried to reach out to you unavailable. So I just had to go. And because I had to do physical therapy today. I'm on a bike right now as I talk to you. I have no idea what the stocks are doing. I have no idea. Okay, but we busted them. We reported it already. Jeff Peterson is a small-time thug. He's going to jail. He has 100% ties to this nonsense. Everything he has a top secret venture with gets destroyed. KNW, GMGI are just 2 new ones. Anyone who's buying those stocks should have their head examined. Just go read the information. If you want proof, go look at SYTA. They destroyed, reversed the stock, wiped them out, and Jefferson is up 220%. Everyone else is wiped out, anyone who buys the stock. Do you have anything you want to ask me, William?
No, I mean, I was going through the Seeking Alpha article, which is complete crap with everybody. And
well, I didn't get a chance to read it, but, hey, listen.
It's all crap.
Anyone can say whatever they like. If you go through Andrew Lett's articles, they say all the nonsense all the time. Well, I'm doing the opposite. I think I have a good feel for the company. I've been following it for 5 years, not 2 weeks, or whatever that guy's name is, for a year, whatever he's been posting. He's wasted his breath here. And if the short story was so positive, William, listen to me, William.
I'm listening.
If the short story was so positive, why is the short covering? That's the same thing they all do. Short and distort. That's what Andrew Left is going to jail for. Okay? Short and distort. All right? That's the same thing. They short it, and then they try to cover on the story. All right? These guys are covering. They were short 1,720,000. Now it's 1,520,000. The data's there. Data doesn't lie. People do. I'm not lying. It's right there. Shortsqueeze.com. I posted it. Came out last night. People sent it to me, and I posted it this morning. It's right there. And William, and even funny, interesting thing is, just to show you how it works, GDC, the borrowed short was 1,200,000, went from 65,000 to 1.2. The stock has pulled back, and now it's down to 485. Anyone see the patterns here? How are these guys covering? When shorts cover, stocks go up. How do stocks continue to go down when shorts are covering? Obviously, the real short is working in cahoots with the naked short. So these guys are defrauding their own prime broker offshore, wherever it is, to make money for their friends onshore. So whoever is the real short in finger motion, 1,720,000, he's buying stock back. The naked short is selling it to him because no one else is. I posted all this. I watched every trade for 2 weeks, William. You know, I've been posting with it. 100 shares, 200 shares. How did they cover 200,000 shares? One share at a time? 10? Those 10 trades, 10, 10, 10, 10. That's how they cover it. And whenever they do a trade, I posted this morning, they watched the trade for 5,999. I took a photo of it and I posted it. Listen, I worked on a trading desk. My job was to watch every transaction and memorize it. That's what I did. I'm not Jeff Easton, some bullshit artist that said he traded Yahoo options. Go fuck himself. What he did, he's a crook. We were trained to study every trade, whether it's one share or a billion shares. We studied them all. And that's what I'm an expert on. And I memorize it and I study it. And these guys met their match. All my friends do the same thing, and I have many professional people watching it. So if I turn my head for a second and something happens, I get to look on it. Wait, one thing you should take a look at, Steve Rosenberg has been bringing it to my attention that there's activity in the January 15 calls and finger. I think we spoke about this.
We already talked about that, yep.
I'm like, who the hell is buying those things? What are they doing up there? I have no idea. I really don't know. He brought it to my attention. He says the only activity in finger motion calls today is the January 15th. And, we both said the same thing. He's an option guy. I'm an option guy. Like, who the hell is doing this? You got to be out of your bird to be doing that.
My guess is it's part of credit default swap or some crap like that.
It has to be something like that. I agree with you. There's something going on that we don't know about and we can see, but they're definitely playing games somewhere.
Right.
Or limiting their upside. If the stock blows up, listen, if the stock was to explode and it goes to $1,500, maybe they have enough calls that they start to go long at $15 once they lose between 2 and 15. And 15 above their hedge, they're protected, something like that. I don't know. But, again, we're at 30 trading days. I have a friend of ours working on setting up the Patrick Byrne call right now. Patrick is out of the country, and we're working on setting up the call with us and Patrick Byrne, and we will take care of that. And I gave him the questions that we want to ask, and it's all related to stock settlement. Stock settlement, stock loan, all the unregulated stock lending, and how the whole thing is unregulated, the whole thing, the whole back office is basically the Wild West. And those are the questions we're going to target. They're going to be criminal charges brought against these people for what they're doing. These guys should go to jail immediately for what they're doing in finger motion, but for what they're really doing in DJT, the manipulation, trying to short it, trying to assassinate the president. These guys all should be fired for that. They should all be thrown in jail for life. It's ridiculous. All the proof is there. Everyone wants a paper trail. I don't think you can get any better paper trail than trading in the U.S. equity markets. Everybody knows what the transactions are. If you were to buy 50 calls in the stock and it got taken over tomorrow, the SEC will hit your door in 3 minutes before you even cash out.
Yeah, but you can write a research report on Seeking Alpha, and they don't care.
They don't. Seeking Alpha, it's all garbage. It's all trash. I discussed if the market ever got back to a fair market, which I believe it will, with a Trump win. I spoke to a friend of mine who's a younger guy, and he is an analyst. And I told him to go get a bunch of analysts and start your own firm. Just do research reports. Sit down with the companies. You can actually get compensated by the companies and tell everybody that you're going to give a fair report, that you were compensated by the company to get the facts out there, good or bad, and go out there and at least understand what their revenue stream is, what it's going to be, and get it from someone who's in the business, say, someone who's a financial analyst. Because there isn't anything like that. Merrill Lynch doesn't cover anything. No one covers anything. CNBC will never talk about your stock. And William, on my call, I discussed about GameStop. You get beat up about GTI. I get beat up about GameStop every day. How could I keep saying something?
Why do I get beat up on GTII and you don't?
I don't get beat up on GTI because I smack you in the face immediately. Go right to Richard Hopkins. Richard Hopkins is working. He gets information from the courts. He's an attorney. And once everything.
They fired everybody according to Hoffman. Everybody's
right.
gone.
So now the receiver's in charge, and he's working with the big holders. He's working with the big holders. Hold on, I'm just getting off this bike. I have no pain. I don't know how my knee's working. It's just amazing. But anyway, he's working with the big holders, and the big holders are working on getting a couple of merger partners. And when it's time, it's time. I can't move anything on that. I can't do anything about it. But things are in motion there, so that'll come alive again. The short's there. That's the only company that actually has the proof from the government. It's right there. But as far as GameStop goes, GameStop sold another 20 million shares. They raised a ton of money. So they keep bringing up the bottom that they now have $10 a share, $11 a share in cash, and the stock is 23. Cash doesn't mean anything. You gotta build a business. I don't believe they should build a business. I think they should just let the stock trade to where it's got to go and keep raising money. What's the difference? If they're going to keep giving it to you or keep raising it. Everyone, the greatest short squeeze, one of the greatest short squeeze ever has happened in the stock. Well, what else do you want to happen? You want it to happen 55 times? I don't believe it will. But the company is showing you that they are plugging the shorts and taking the cash. And I do think that, William, that is under the instructions of the SEC. You believe that at all?
Yeah, makes sense.
He had some indictment against them about Bed Bath & Beyond, where he forced the short squeeze, and we knew about it. It went to $33. He sold it, made a fortune from it, and all the people that were following him lost all their money. That's what what's his name should have done, Kitty Cat. He bought the stock and went to 80. He didn't sell it. He wanted to be a hero. Now what does he do with it? If he did own it, right? I don't know. He should have sold it. But he didn't. But anyway, let's move it along. DJT, again, starting to pop up again. They take it down so low. How does the stock pop up? 89 cents. It's up $1, whatever it was up. It's traded 20 million shares today. Where does all the buying come from? Does everyone buy and sell it all day long? It's just remarkable. William, I told you about MLGO, my good friend who actually does tremendous work on it. He told me that the company's got 17 million shares in the whole company. Hundreds of millions of shares naked shorted, and it has $3 a share in cash. It's 25 cents. I don't know anything about the company. It got squeezed to, I don't know where the hell it went to. And it's 25 cents. Who the hell's trading this thing? It's traded 100 million shares today. People, the whole equity market is like a riddle. How do you figure it out? You have to find the company, get the information on the company, decide whether you like it. And if you look at the trading of the stock for 2 minutes, you'll say, what the hell's going on? You can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. And I studied hundreds, thousands of stocks. I can't figure out what's going on. The volume, nothing makes sense anymore. I don't understand how anyone can say this is the best market in the world. It's completely frozen. Completely frozen. It's just completely out of control. nothing is right, and nothing is fair. It just doesn't make any sense. Do you have any questions, William? I spoke so fast I can't remember what the hell I'm talking about.
They want to know which symbol you're talking about. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Don't worry, I'll just start talking.
November 15 calls sold for a penny, one guy's saying.
Someone sold the November 15th calls at a penny.
That's what it says.
Okay, so let me just give that person, and not one person in the world should ever sell anything at a penny. It's not worth it. I mean, this November,
Yeah.
if we're looking for activity, not saying that the 15s are a play, but why would you take it for a penny? It doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Worthless transactions.
I would argue, if you already own it, why sell it at a penny? You already lost everything. You give up all hope. I mean, you're going to, anyway.
Well, my belief is that I believe that when this goes, it's going well past $15. All right. So imagine if you sold that at a penny. Let's say you paid a nickel for it and you sold it at a penny because for some reason you didn't want to hold on to that one call for a penny. Imagine if it ever went. You'll be sitting there scratching your head and saying, "What the hell did I do that for?" So you should never do that. And if someone sold them short at a penny, I can give you many. I know my brother used to tell me guys on the American Stock Exchange used to be an option exchange. So many people used to go around selling options with 2 days to go for expiration, at a teeny or an eighth or 6 cents or 12 cents, and hoping just to collect a premium on expiration day. And, for a year, nothing ever happens. They go around selling them. And then one day you come in and the stock that you sold them on gets acquired and you get wiped out and the people get escorted off the floor and they're bankrupt. That's how much you have risk on the upside when you do that. You got no money to make. You only got risk. And that's how stupid those transactions are. And it's happened many times. Go ahead.
It says you're on a conference call. There aren't any real questions that stand out.
Okay, let's go through it again. I'll do it quick for everybody. GTII, follow Richard Hoffman. He'll give us the timeline to when things are going to happen, and then me and William and others will discuss it. There's over 500 million naked shorts. It's tied to Alpine and the Kramers. Until the company is up and running, there's nothing to discuss. It's not dead. For the gentleman that was in a coma that called in yesterday, it's not dead. Okay? Go watch Richard Hoffman. I'm being polite. Do your homework. This is alive. Once it gets kicking again, we'll all be on top of it. Next, finger motion. I told you I caught them spoofing today. People, you have real-time inside information. November 5th, Trump wins. He kicks out Gary Gensler day one. Pat Burns is going to come in and force stock settlement. I'm not making it up. They said it themselves. It's right there. Okay? We're going to get Pat Burns on a call, me and William, and we're going to ask him the questions. We're setting it up. All right? And hopefully the CEO of Finger Motion can reach back out to William when he's ready. Again, when he's ready. We can't force the public company to make statements. But if they can, and he comes back online, we'll get that information to you on Finger Motion. As far as the short, the real short is covering. Hello, they're covering. They're telling you they want out of the trade. They're telling you, I don't know if you understand that. A short, when they start covering, the trend is your friend. They're covering for a reason. They don't want their scam is over with, and they're trying to cover. They cannot do it all in one day because it'll be easy to track. If they just cross 1,520,000 shares overnight, the SEC can follow that transaction in a second. So they do it in small lots all day long, like they did today, 5,999. And in the middle of this today, we created 100,000 shares. You know, there could be potentially 80,000 more trades of 10 shares, 100 shares, and just keep adding them up. And then selling them, the naked short is selling them to the real short. And they're crossing them. They're all prearranged trades. All right, and I tell you, we watch it all the time, and we don't see any activity. We see retail investors coming in here. Yesterday, retail investors bought 25,000 shares, which is normal. This is what the stock should be trading: 25 to 50,000 shares a day, no more. Stop the naked short, have the real short cover, and your nose will bleed. That's how high it's going to go. And I've been tracking it for years, not 2 weeks, years. All right? I can't tell you what the revenue is going to be. I'm not an analyst. I don't do that stuff. But the company is building to be a monster. William spoke about Amazon. It took them 10 years to get to a profit. Everything they sold was a loss. But Finger Motion has to get to profitability in 2 weeks, according to the guy from whatever that service was, Seeking Alpha. Hurry up, you got to go. You can't survive. You're garbage. You're this, that. Okay, no problem. He knows everything. The company's got deals in Munich.
He's just there to give the sellers cover.
That's all it is.
He's a turd.
That he is exactly what Andrew Left did, or Capybara. They write the story, give the short some cover for reason to selling. The stock sold off. Why? Because I'm shorting it because there's a short story on it. It makes sense. I'm going to short sell. That's what they did. There you go. Congratulations. That's what they do. And the SEC allows this to happen. And they look the other way. And it's been going on a long time, and they know all about it. Andrew Left got busted for what these guys are doing. Busted and going to jail. He lived in fear of the DOJ. Well, he doesn't have to live in fear anymore. His biggest fears come to life. And Andrew Left, I just wanted to discuss that for a second. I don't know if I told you. Andrew Left sold his house for $16 million in Boca Raton, right? Okay?
Yeah.
This is the guy who's a bird burn. He sold a $16 million house in Boca Raton.
Yeah.
A friend of mine who has knowledge of the criminal system said that the federal authorities would never let you sell an asset because they don't want you to get liquid and disappear with the cash, right?
Right.
He sold the house for $16 million, means that he is turning state's evidence. They allowed him to sell that house to keep that money. In return, he has to give up everybody. That's how they negotiate by those type of things. They negotiated, let him keep his money, but he has to give up Anson, this one, Jeff Easton, Hal Mintz. They're all tied together. I put up William some of the deals these guys have done together, Hal Mintz and Jeff Easton, and right below them is Anson. They're all in the same deals.
Of course.
You don't think they know each other? The photo shows you they're all in the same
They
deals.
all work with each other.
Right, they all work together. There you go, exactly. So again, Andrew Left has gone dark. You don't see another story about him anymore, right? He's gone dark. That means he's turned state's evidence and given up everybody. That's what that means.
He's the P. Diddy of the financial world.
And with that girl that was boyfriend to the FTX guy, she gave up everybody too, right?
She got 2 years.
Yeah, but what did she do? She gave up everybody, right? It's him, it's him, it's them, it's that, it's this and that, right?
Yeah.
They all pointed everybody out. I told you before, once you're facing jail, everybody's going to start pointing the fingers. No one wants to go to jail. Think about what's his name, Andrew Left. When he goes to jail, what is he, 45, 50 years old? Do 20 years, you come out at 70? I think about the crimes. Is the crime worth the time? Jeff Easton's going to jail. He's going to come out an old fat man. Just so he can eat another fucking steak, this fat bastard. Right? Think about that. They don't give a shit.
when you go to heaven, you and Jeff are going to share a bunk room, same dorm room.
When I go to heaven with him,
It's going to be your penance for being so mean to him.
and he doesn't want listen, mean to him. He's stealing from everybody on this phone. He steals from his own
I
mother.
know. I'm making light of it.
I can't listen. I'm no angel, okay? All right, but these guys don't. They have no respect for anything. You know, I run a few red lights. I speed, right? I call people the F word when I'm driving, or this or that. I got it. We all do it. These guys couldn't care less. They'll steal from any old lady on a corner. Their lowest form. They do it without a mask and a gun. It's a disgrace. It's remarkable. Ken Griffin, they could Ken Griffin's one of the richest, he's the 45th richest man in the world. Where did he come from? From being a market maker? That's it. How could he not be number one? All he does is steal every day. He's going into the biggest piggy bank in the world, taking whatever he wants every day. Think about that for a second. And he's not number one yet. He even stinks at stealing, I guess. I can't believe it. What else you got later?
There's a longshoreman strike happening. Shut down the East Coast.
Listen, take the migrants, let them work at the docks. Listen, I watched the video on that. The truckers are pissed at the longshoremen because the longshoremen are screwing up the truckers. They're the ones that deliver everything. And, the ports want to use automation, and the longshoremen want to go from $40 an hour to $80. So it's everybody shaking everybody down, and you know what? It's a tough thing, and now they're trying to scare us all into that we're going to starve to death. I got it. The military should just take it over the ports, and that's the end of the conversation. And end it.
Do you think DJT will squeeze before finger, or will they go up at the same time?
I think they're going to go at the same time. I think DJT is going to be rocket stock and robots shortly. I just really feel that that's like, it's going to be out of control soon. I really think that the reason I say DJT is going to go first because it has institutional ownership. Institutional buyers will step in. Someone who's trading $1 billion for XYZ hedge funds can say, "Hey, I know Donald Trump." He's not going to sit there and say, "I know finger motion." Finger motion has to come across his desk, and my network of friends, once it starts, will make sure that gets around the right desk on the street. All right, but DJT, it's not going to take a genius to figure out that the big players know that name. I think the big players are going to move from GameStop, which they already moved on from, and they're going to look for another play. And I do think it's going to be DJT first, and then finger motion will follow right along with it. Hey, when you buy DJT, you go out and you buy 50,000 shares at 15, you sell it at 25, guys will sell it, right? The next hedge fund will take it. They're going to go, "What's the next one?" We'll say, "Well, it's over here, finger motion." It's very easy. Once the game begins, everyone's looking for the next horse, right?
Right.
That's how it works. And again, if the SEC is listening, my network is brokers and hedge funds all over the street. And once the race starts, trust me, we will make sure that the street's looking in the right direction. If you get my drift. So Gary Gets, if you're listening, that's what we do. We're going to let everybody know where the game is. Disgrace. And that lady, Hester Pierce, she's another turncoat. She's turning on the SEC herself. She's probably looking for a position. Another one. How do they just go in front of everybody and just lie? It's just remarkable. whether it's a crypto asset or this or that. They just make up shit. Get on TV. We're having a hearing. This is what we know. This is what we see. Let's make a decision, everybody. What are we going to do? It's easy. Hey, we have unsettled trades. What should you do? Oh, just let it go on for 36 years and look the other way because there's people making a lot of money from it. Or do we need to close it out because people are losing and had enough? It's one or the other, right? Should take about 10 minutes to figure out. Hey, and if you're short, you're going to go broke. You better buy it back. End the conversation. And if you were short, and if I was short buying any stock, and it's $2, and I'm waiting to make $2 more bucks from a company that's not going out of business, you have to be criminally insane not to start covering. Insane. The company's not going away, and yet you're standing here thinking you're going to get away with it. It's impossible. These are morons. Complete morons. And you have to look at it as a bet. Is the company going out of business? That's your first thing. Is the company going out of business? Yes or no? If you say no, you say, okay, why are these guys short this stock if the company's not going out of business? Why don't they cover and reshort it at $10? Because they can't cover it. They sold so many shares, they cannot cover it. They're totally screwed. And then you say, what's going to be the catalyst to make it go up? Well, I just gave you the catalyst. President Trump wins, Pat Byrne comes in. There's your catalyst. And it's jail. It's going to be bail before jail, so you better not fail. And these guys have all failed, and guess what? They're going to jail, and they're going to get blown out. And that's how I look at the trades. I told you before, finger motion was 20. There's a lot of wiggle room in it. I said, that's why it makes it dangerous. Because they can manipulate it, and they'll do these stories. Well, they just did a story. What story? They did another fake, stupid story. There's no more room. The room is to the upside, you idiots. The room is to the upside. Me and William have been saying it. The risk in finger motion is up, not down. They already pushed it to a level where it's stupid. Benchmark as it's worth 5+. Who the hell's selling it here? Who's spoofing today at 88,000 shares? The whole day's volume they were spoofing. That wasn't a mistake. It's called a spoof. A spoof is a trade that they never have any intention of selling, and it's there to scare investors to panic and sell. End the conversation. They were trying to change the market of the company, the narrative, whatever you want to call it. Just Google spoofing. It's right there. They'll tell you. Guys are going to jail for spoofing. Whoever hit that button should go to jail. All right, they pretended that there was 90,000 for sale. There was not one share for sale. They are actually buyers. That's why they're spoofing. They want people to sell so they can buy your stock. That's what they're doing. And I mean, anyone doesn't understand this, speak. I'm trying to just tell you how these are tricks these guys have been doing for a long time in the equity markets. Well, William, when we used to see a size offer like that, when I saw a size offer and I was following a stock like this, in 20 seconds we buy it. 20 seconds. I would actually have permission to just grab up to 200,000 immediately, because we know it's a spoof, and we like to pick them off, as we call it. Because all of a sudden they spoof, thinking that no one sees it, right? And all of a sudden we take them out. Now they're totally screwed because they just got short another 100. That was an old trick these guys used to do. Remember, when someone shows a sizable position, we always say size goes to size. If there's someone offering 100, we're going to find a buyer and take them out. Because if I want to buy a stock, I want to buy size. There it is. What am I waiting for? It's right there. Right?
That's right.
That's how we should describe it. Size goes to size. Any other questions?
Do you think DJT will be covered before the election?
Yes.
When do you think GTII will be removed from the expert market?
That's something you have to ask Richard. I don't know. I'm not an attorney. Rich is working on that. He's hearing everything about it. And he's the one that's on top of it.
What happens to DJT if Kamala is president?
What happens to DJT if Kamala is president?
Mm-hmm. Unless maybe somebody else is president. What if Trump doesn't win?
Again, DJT, they'll fight that battle out anyway, but I find it impossible. Listen, this whole election thing is just a big sham, and the game's over with it. All the tricks are being played. It's coming to a head. This country could get violent, but there's Donald Trump as the president. It's end of subject. I can't listen. I'm not a political person, but this has been like a stupid motion picture that's been playing out in front of us, where they are flooding the towns with migrants. The people have had enough, whether black, white, everyone's joining together saying enough of this nonsense. And I saw something disturbing the other day at Springfield, Illinois, where they had migrant men walking down the street as like an army of like 200 of them. And I told you, I've seen that in New York. I mean, it's just, you don't see 200 military-aged men walking around through neighborhoods. And this is going to get violent, and it's going to get violent quick, and it's going to end quick. So, be prepared. I know I am. Just be prepared in case it comes to your area. Just be aware that this is not going to be fun. So whatever's going to happen is going to happen fast here. Right? And I think that the good people, the good guys, are going to prevail, and I think that this other shit's going to hit the fan. I think all this shit with this P. Diddy stuff has got ties to high-ranking people, and I think that there's going to be problems on the Democratic side. I don't know if there's any Republicans that were doing that stuff, but I think there's a big problem going on. This country's a mess. I think people have been getting blackmailed. I think there's been a lot of criminal activity. And getting favors, there's people that have become billionaires overnight over nothing. It's just crazy. People, look at Nancy Pelosi. She owns calls and visas. She sells them. 2 weeks later, the Justice Department's investigating them. I mean, these people are like walking around just looting people, and everybody's broke. I mean, we've all had enough of it.
Do you follow MLGO?
I know about it. I do not follow it.
Okay.
I gave you information that's very sophisticated from someone that I really trust. I put it up this morning, how big the short is, how much cash they have, 17 million shares in the float, in the whole company, excuse me. I think the float's less, and it's traded 100 million shares. It was 26, 27 cents when I put it up. That's all I know.
The SEC just fined broker-dealers $85 million yesterday for erasing records, but I think you talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, let's just think about that. You are regulated by the SEC. So if the SEC ever knocks on your door, they say, well, we think you did some criminal, but can we see your records? No, I erased them all. That's what you're basically saying. I just got rid of them all. No, don't worry about me. I don't have them anymore. Think about that, what they're saying. It's insane. William, I'm not seeing the trades, but I saw single motion was 210 bid. Did they just whack the bid? Because if they did, that means they're washing it.
Let me look. 209 to 210.
What's the volume?
108.78.
Oh, so I hit it up a few seconds ago. It was 210 to 2,500. Offered at 211. The volume was 102.595. So again, I'm not looking at a machine right now. I'm just looking at a phone. So I assume that they whacked that bid out. Again, I always thought it's funny how Finger motion always has a seller, and K&W, which has a debt spiral loan on it, never has sellers in it. It's all pre-arranged. It's just amazing. K&W, they're trying to lure people into buy it so Lynn can short it so they can get their money off the table. And Finger Motion has nothing but sellers, and everyone on these calls have witnessed it every day. Selling, 200, 100, 200, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. It's like a machine gun selling. No companies have selling like this every day. Keep asking the questions, everybody. Just I can't go anywhere. The only problem is I can't see any. I can't see too much, so that's the problem. I can discuss it, but I can't see.
Growth. China is such a down market that the central bank had to slash interest rates. Whatever.
The U.S. Is such a down market. The U.S. Government had to slash interest rates.
Yeah.
That's why it sounds just like China did, right? The U.S. is doing the same thing China's doing.
Sounds
Listen,
like
people.
the world
Listen,
might be.
the countries are not going away. All right, they're not stocks. They're not going away. So they navigate by using interest rates up and down to excel growth, get growth, slow down growth, whatever it may be. So please stop using the nonsense that China's doing this and it's bad for their markets. Yesterday, the China market roared and Finger Motion had a seller in it, right? Who's selling it when the Chinese market is got stimulus, everything's going crazy. Finger Motion does their business in China, people. All right. Hey, listen, William, I saw a thing last night on the news channel. It was talking about artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence, okay?
It sounds like Michael Dion.
I don't know much about it, but artificial intelligence is super valuable when it's used against where it's personal data or data of people. That's where it's mostly. That's where the benefit comes in. Its most value is. And I'm looking at it, scratching my head, saying, "Wow, Finger Motion has the data of 1.5 billion people in China. I wonder if they could become an artificial player using that 1.5 billion people. What value would that have? We'll wait to see what happens." I'll leave it at that. And that was, you probably Googled that story. I think it was on Fox, how data is the most important thing on artificial intelligence. That's how it learns that's how it's making its decisions based on the data from where they're getting the data from, whether it's personal people, industry, whatever it may be. But 1.5 people moving, and we get to see all their data and put it into AI. But that could be pretty powerful. And it's funny how this small company has that access. It's amazing. But yet, someone wants to sell it at $2. Those people selling it to are going to be roasted alive just on the fundamentals alone. Forget the short squeeze. They just hit the bid again, William, while we're watching it again. I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing it delayed, so just bear with me. I'm sorry.
It did 1,800 shares at 208.
All right, there you go. Always a seller. Always a seller. They can't help themselves. Listen, everybody, if you want to sell it, knock yourself out. And if you do sell it, please come on here and tell us why you sold it. There's no shame. I got it. I have family. I have to pay for the dentist. I have to pay for the kids' school, to stock out like shit. Please tell us. I speak with a lot of people, and I hear zero selling. Zero selling. Okay, I've been hearing it for a long time. 0 selling. I know people buying it all the time. Again, when someone has unlimited stock for sale because they are counterfeiting it, just go to your computer and start printing shares on your printer. That's what they're doing. Just think about that. There's a printer in your house, and you can go out there and you just keep printing shares. That's what they're doing. I had to get up with him and walk because I have to keep my knee moving. So I'm walking. And for those of anybody who's ever had a walker, how to use one, it's not exactly easy to do.
They just traded 200 shares at 208.
200 shares, 100 shares. This stock is like NVIDIA. Hurry up, we got to trade every second. The company is doing something. The CEO just took a shit, sell 200 shares. That's what it's like. You know, I've never seen a company that's completely under attack every day. And it's not under attack in a big way, don't get me wrong. They're under attack in a nickel and dime way, which tells me we're dealing with nickel and dime crooks. Come on, William, let's pick up the pace. You got the computer, I'm just sitting
Big
here.
Al says, darn it, fingers $2. I remember when it was 5, but the volume's down. I think low volume is bullish. Look, just take heart. The CEO I have always found hardworking, responsive, telling his story. He can't talk to me right now, so you just have to interpret what that means. My interpretation: they got things they're going to announce. Is it 1 thing, 2 things, 3 things? I have no idea. But
well, Big Al, let me tell you something. I remember when it was 5.2. Okay. And I also remember when DJT was 50. DJT is now $13. Okay? And I'm not making light of one up, down more than the other. But I think that once it turns, you'll be happy in both of these names because the reason they're down is artificially they're being naked shorted. That's the reason, Al. And if you don't believe us, Al, which I'm not saying
he's a good guy. Don't get mad
No.
at him.
Listen to what I said. If you don't believe us, then I understand you're a good guy. I got it. Please call the SEC up. They have a whistleblower hotline and just say to them, hey, I'm an investor. I watch the stock go down on nothing but good news every day. There's rumors that Jeff Easton of Lynn Partners is the next short seller. Can you give me the data on the fails to deliver on this company? I want to make sure that these 2 idiots that are talking all the time about it are not making shit up. That's all you got to say. We all see it go down now. We're not happy about it either.
Big Al says you're just pissed off after the FSU game.
We won this week, Al. Come on, give us a break. That was 2 weeks ago. I was pissed off. But he is correct. I was pissed off.
He's Alabama.
Get out of here. All my wife's family's from Alabama. Listen, what goes around comes around. It'll swing. Alabama will start their downturn. It's like anything else. And when I went to Alabama, a few years from Alabama, I stayed at some golf resort. I can't remember. I don't play golf, but it was very nice. I can't remember the name of it.
T-Low hits a new low, or T-Low is dating
T-Low spiked to 838. A few of my friends made some small sales, always up, and they've been buying it back below 7. And of course, they came in and trying to.
I think T-Low's going up. I think T-Low's
I
going
don't know
up.
where it is. I'm not seeing it.
I don't know.
I just told you what my friends had bought a nice sizable position. And when it ran, they made sales north of 8, they said, and they started buying it back below 7. They owned it at 5, so they make $1.50. They own it at 3.5 now. That's how you keep doing it. Keep lowering your costs, and you stay as long as you can possibly stay. Because if the company does come up with this way of extending your life, we want to be on top of it, right?
Well, it depends.
Think about the people betting against it. It's just like finger motions. Let's bet against it because we don't like it, because we want to steal money. We were here first. We found this stock first. We deserve to short it. That's what it is. They're like the Crime family.
I guess this is a serious question. Do you think they'd be able to get finger under $2 again? I mean, it's a 208. I would say there's always a chance. I mean, that's.
Well, the last time they did it, I bought stocks with my daughter at 170. I went to pay 177. They sold it to me 172. So they were selling it at the market, trying to knock it down back then.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just, listen, you're not talking to a normal event here. You're talking about security. You're watching security fraud in real time, my friends. And by us reporting on it, okay, the only thing that has to happen is the company has to pull up its pants, which they can only do accordingly with the SEC rules, or else the company will be fined and flogged if they do anything out of the ordinary. Okay, I can see it now. If they do anything that's not timely or filed, they get sanctioned. Jeff Easton and his friends just hit a sell button. Just like they did today. Let's flash 88,000 for sale, spoof it. No one's ever going to see it. No one's watching this thing. Well, fuckface, I took a snapshot of it. I caught you doing it. Think about that. And they just hit the bid again for another 5,000. My friends, they're watching trades right now. They just did it for 5,200 shares. It went 208. Now, William, here's the key for everybody on the phone. All right? They just hit the bid for whatever. I think it was 5,200 shares on the buy side. I didn't get a chance to take a snapshot of it. They hit the bid for 5,200 shares at 208. What's the market coming out right now, William? Tell me what the market is right now.
Which market?
What's the market of finger motion?
Oh.
Right now.
Hang on. It's 207 by 210, 29 by 10.
Okay. It's 207 to 210. It was this 208 bid.
They just sold 194 shares at 208.
Before that was 5,200. They sold 5,200. They sold exactly enough.
That doesn't show up. That doesn't show up. They at 1340.14 they did 194 at 208. 1332.55.
Well, I'll get the data in a few minutes. But
I mean, maybe they did it off the, off the.
Right. Well, it was bid for 5,200 at 208. I saw it. I didn't get a chance to take a snapshot of it. So they hit it. What I'm trying to tell you.
I think they only got 194 shares on.
They only sell exactly what the bid is for. For example, if I hit the bid, I wanted this 5,200 the bid, I would sell, hey, I'm going to sell 6,000 to be 800 left. That doesn't exist. They only sell exactly what's there all the time. That means they're selling it back and forth to themselves. Do you understand it? That's how stupid and lazy they are. And they've been doing this all the time. We've been posting about this for a long time already. See, now it's 207 bids for 2,900. All right? It's, just keep track of what they do, the bids. That's what you say. Now, the 2,900 could be a real buyer. I don't know. But when they sell it, they don't sell 3,000. They sell 2,900. They sell exactly the amount. So that tells me that the sellers are not real.
So
And people were getting closer. We've got 2 hours to go. Again, I had knee surgery. I have nowhere to go. I can't play ball. I'm pissed off. And I have this bike that they sent me over to keep riding 5-6 times a day. and it gets your knee back going again, which is really, if anyone's had these surgeries, it's really remarkable. You know, when I first had the surgery, I says, how am I going to bend this leg? I had no idea. But the bike moves it, and then you start pedaling afterwards, and they monitor everything. It goes right back to the doctor's office, and they set your program up, and you got to do these. And there it is. They hit the 207 bid exactly for what? They sold 9,000, William. It was 119. We're up to 128 now. How's that? They sold exactly what was needed at 127. Not a share more. They crossed it another 9,000. And there it is, another. We went from 120 something to 135, another 7,000. They're just swishing it back and forth right now, people. Listen, I despise what you have to watch, what you have to see, but this is what they do to try to do everything they can to steal your money. The problem is they're trapped like rats and they can't get out. They cannot get out of this mess. All right, we got 30 days to go, down to 29, and they know it. I let them know, we know, and they just keep going. Here, they printed at 204 now. I always told you, as soon as they trade it, it's always a downtick. Have you ever seen a stock that does trade like this? You hit the bid, and the next trade is always a negative, negative, a negative, negative. They're just trying to weigh on the person who says they're going to break through. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to tell you, yeah, we're going to break through. Fuck you. That's what they're saying to you. But you know what? We're standing together. We're not going away. We have good people with us, and we're going to break these fucking guys.
Why doesn't your son buy you that thing that you can put on your face and play pickleball on the computer?
You got to stand up, though. You have to stand up to do it.
I don't know.
Right.
It would get you out of our hair for 2 hours a day.
You can actually tell that I'm fired up. I'm ready to go.
So who do you think's going to win, Alabama or Georgia?
Good game. I kind of like Alabama.
Well, good. Big Al is Big Al, Alabama. So you made a new friend.
If I need a friend, I'll get a dog. I'm only kidding now. I'm only kidding. I like Alabama this week. I think Georgia's sort of. I don't think Georgia's as strong as it's been. And Alabama's got that running quarterback that's hard to chase down. And I'm looking forward to it. And what is today? Wednesday? I don't even know what today is.
So it's Wednesday, even though it feels like 3 days over the last 2 hours.
Right. You don't want me to speak?
No, I don't mind you speaking. I'm just being a pill.
Oh, okay. Again, I'm stuck in the house. I can't go anywhere. I'm ready to go. So we watched them wash.
They did 100 shares at 206.57.
We watched them wash from at least 40,000 shares within the last hour.
Yeah.
And you can say, well, I know someone who bought 2,000. All right, so it's 38,000. I can't give you an exact total, but every time there's been a bid, they sell it. Because the real short has to cover. People, the real short, 1,720,000, now it's 1,520,000. They need to get that to zero. They don't like that we report on it. That shows their trend. That shows what they're doing. That shows their thinking. All right? That is information that has to be available. The naked short, they hide the numbers from us. All right? Each day we posted the naked short number. Not everybody's going to get up every day and dig through those numbers. I told you my friend from Buy-ins gave it to us a long time ago. And we just built off of that. I'm sure the number's higher because they're moving the real short to the naked short. So 230, every day they cover 200,000. Now it's 230,200. I'm just going to make it for example. Again, we know the date. the election. We know what's going to happen. Trump's going to fight against it. Trump is going to put in Garrett with Pat Byrne. So that's inside information. That's all you know. The shorts know it too. And they're just trying to manipulate the stock to get people to sell. That's all they're trying to do. And I got it. Listen, everyone, I understand. It bothers me. I have my kids in it, my cousins in it, everyone I know in it. And after I get off with you, I touch base with everyone else who has a question. And you know what? I don't back away. I was always taught never duck a client. And I can tell you this story again. I had a client call me up from Lehman Asset Management, open an account. She ran over $1 billion. She called me up and she wanted a trade idea. And I said, well, one of my best clients is short this stock. It's on the curve. Episode EPT. I think it was $11 or something like that. Then she goes, okay, I want to do business with you. And I said, okay. And she said, all right, I'll short 100,000 of that stock. I did. I sold it short for her at 11. She went to the Hamptons. It was a Thursday. She said, if anything happens, give me a call. Here's my number. Call me in the Hamptons. But, I just opened an account with her. She didn't know. We kind of just knew each other. The next day, William, the stock had a takeover bid, $30 a share. So just by calling me, she was
That's
up
the
$20.
epitome of excellence.
Just by one day, just calling me up. And it cost me $2 million. I had to call her up. The whole trading desk was looking at me. There's 40 people on the desk, They call it, is she going to dictate a trade, meaning not pay for it, because they could just say, that's not my trade, and I'm stuck $2 million. She accepted the trade. She told me, asked me what happened, and I told her. I said that I called to the client that I got the idea from, and that client said that the trade, that the takeover bid was false. She shorted another 100,000 at $31, I think it was, 30 and a half. So her average went from 11 and add to 30. She was probably short $1 billion, like I'll say 21.
Mm-hmm.
200,000 shares. By the end of the day, it was a false bid. She bought it back at $4. The whole thing was a scam. All right, I went from a dunce to a hero.
That's pretty cool.
How's that, right?
That's pretty cool.
And that's because I called up my client. I never hid from them, and that's what I do here. I don't hide. That's a true story.
Yeah, you should go get one of those paddles with the red balls that kids play with. Hit the ball back and forth.
Whoever said that was a very good one. That's a good one.
That's Augustine.
I used to do that as a kid. We sat on the corner, everybody was sitting there trying to get that stupid ball.
That's what you should do. Go out on your back deck. Leave your family alone. Go out in the front yard doing it as people drive by. They can watch
It looks cold outside. I'm not going outside. It's too cold. I'm going to stand on the corner with this stupid thing. That is so funny. Thank you very much. You made my day by saying that. It's pretty funny.
That's Augustin Vasquez.
That's what I used to do, standing on the corners of 10th Avenue in Brooklyn, standing around, everybody doing that. That's so funny. Yeah, so again, we're looking at finger motion. It's now almost 2 o'clock. In the last 4 minutes, after the big onslaught of all the wash trades, nothing happens. There's no selling. It's all prearranged, my friends. If you want to see trading, go look at the video. Up, down, trading. Everybody's selling, buying, selling. Not here. There's no selling. There's nothing going on. They're sitting here listening to this call. Jeff Easton sitting to this call with his finger up his fucking fat ass, deciding what he's going to do next to try to get people to come out of stock. Him and Phil Lavalier and those other 2 fucking women that work for him, they all belong in jail. I can't wait for them to get subpoenaed and start ratting on each other. Oh, this is where all the money's hidden. These are the wire transfers. These are the phone records. These are their brokers. This is the network. Bang, 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 bang. See you later.
You need to see a shrink for your obsessions.
Listen, I'm not pleased that I have to do this every day. But
I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing.
they're not stealing my money. I'm telling you right now. They're not stealing my money. And I will do whatever it takes. And I think that I was about 8 years old. My parents put me on a yellow school bus. Everybody from the neighborhood, we all thought we were going on some great field trip. And next thing I wound up in front of the FBI building. And I protested in front of the FBI building, I think when I was 8 years old, for the Italian American, called the FBI Gestapo back then. All the kids were there. We had no idea what we were doing. So, and maybe that's where I learned how to fight for my rights or whatever it may be, but I'm not going away. We didn't do anything wrong. We caught the rat bastards. We know where it is. We know where it comes from. It's all tied to toxic lending, okay?
They got the bid down, 204, 206. 19 by 3, 139.58.
No, it hasn't even traded. It's just moving bids around. If it's just one 205 bid, it must.
They did 100 shares at 205.
All right. If you go back to the loophole, everyone, Tom Gera, the vice president of NASDAQ, he's quoted, "We are afraid that hedge funds are going to use the loophole to go into the market and only make sales and never buy. They don't make an orderly market." And that is what you're seeing. There's never a buyer. They sell and they don't buy. That's what they do.
They're not real market makers.
That is correct.
They're not traditional market makers.
Right.
They might be illegal market makers, but they're not.
Listen, market makers would sell a stock short. If you come in, you buy 5,000 at 206. I sell it to you short as a market maker, and then I go 204 bids for 5,000. If I don't buy it at 204, I move up to 205. And at the end of the day, I can sit there and say, "Wait, I don't want to be short 5,000. I'll buy 3,000 back at 206."
Talat, the company changed auditors at the request of one of their largest investors. My guess is the SEC is waiting to approve the dividend until that audit is complete. It's probably already done. It's not going to be much longer. But there's no news on the dividend isn't going to change anything, really. You're going to still have 10 days. You have to wait for that. And it's probably not going to cause the stock to go up right away. But it could, once it's announced, people start buying the stock to get the dividend.
Listen, once the dividend is announced and we got the record date, the number of shares, the date, all the information, I'm going to go show it to everybody on the street and tell them exactly what it's going to be. But I can't go out and say anything yet because I don't have any details. I don't know.
But the auditor, they changed auditors. So logically, the SEC says, we'll wait to see the numbers. And the earnings come out in October. I forget, Yahoo, I think, said the 12th. I don't know. You can look it up. So we probably, realistically, we're waiting 2 or 3 weeks for the dividend.
So
but I don't think it's a bad thing.
We went from 139 to 144, so another 5,000 shares. This is for us.
Well, not on the market, it wasn't, or not at least.
No, I'm just looking at the volume.
I mean, maybe it'll show up here in a second. The last trade I see, 100 shares at 206. At 1356.56. They did 2,000. No, sorry, they did another 100 at 2.0599.
Right.
At 1356.55.
I'm just following the volume. It was 139. We're at 144.596 now, so it's another 5,000 shares.
They did 100, 700, 100, and 100.
Or you can see them playing the games. There's nothing going on.
October 11th for after hours for earnings on the finger.
All right, so October 11th, everybody on the call, jot it down. You remind us next time when it comes out.
That's according to Red Dan.
All right, so it's October 11th, so it's around that time. So we all know the date, we all know the time, and there you go. We all know when it's going to come. The company's not hiding. Listen, companies have to go through the motions of being a public company. The crooks are just hitting a sell button. All right?
1,000 just went off at 2.0501.
That means someone was probably buying 1,000 and they naked shorted it to them. But they don't want it to trade up at 207. Right?
Yeah.
They don't want the stock to trade up, so they naked short it. That's happened to me many times. I go to buy it, trying to take the offer, and they sell it to me, 2 cents. They sell it to me 1 penny below the bid because they want the stock to go down. Remember, who wants less? No one on this phone call wants less for anything you're doing. Listen, I'm sorry I sound like a broken record, but this is how you learn. I'm giving you 40 years of trading, whatever the hell it is, 35 years of trading.
Like it.
I'm like a broken record. But this is how you learn it. You study it, you learn it, you memorize, bang, bang, bang. And what you're doing here, you can use it any stock you ever want to trade. I know it's boring. Most people don't like to go to college and study and take classes, but this is what this is. This is a stock trading class. You're learning how to do it. And the market right now is down, what, 332, 232?
241 shares went off at 206.82.
And they won't let it trade at 207. If the market turns up, what's the first stock that's going to go up? NVIDIA. Hit it, it's up to 46. So you can probably go in there, and if you're playing, you buy 1,000 shares in NVIDIA. If the market rallies, you buy that one, you can probably sell it at 125 by the close. If the market's going to rally back. I like to buy the rallies. I don't like to short the rallies. I like to buy the rallies. People like to short into the rallies. When the market gets out of control, where it's down 500, 800, and then rallies back up, those are rallies you can short. Not these. This isn't a sell-off. It's down 200 more. If the market's down $200, and the first stock they want to sell is Finger Motion. Give me a break. The first stock everybody should sell. All right? And I won't advise you to sell it. But the first stock and only stock to sell is K&W. It's worthless. Lynn Partners has a toxic debt spiral note on it that they can convert at 0.0001 cent. Who's standing here buying 200,000 shares of this stock? There's not one share for sale. It's holding up fine. Who in their right mind would play that name? That's how the game is played. And the SEC allows these guys to run around as unregistered toxic lenders that belong in jail. They're up 220%. Everyone else is getting their ass kicked, and these guys are walking through the park laughing. Every company that they involved in gets wiped out. Every company. The crime is here. You can see yourself. You're learning in real time how they operate. This is not a trading stock. For those who think you're going to buy Finger Motion and you're here to trade it, go somewhere else. It's not a trading stock. This is an accumulation stock, and when the short squeezes, it's a life-changing stock. Life-changing. Meaning that, A, if you buy shares, you may be able to buy a new car, pay off a mortgage, get a trip around the world for a year, anything you like to do. That's what this is about. If you're looking to trade to make $500, go trade something else. You can go find plenty of stupid names to play. This is an event stock, and the event is coming up. My son just gave me a Celsius, which is an energy drink, William.
Oh no, just what you need.
I gotta go back on that bike and pedal, so I'm gonna get fired up, ready to go. And if anybody ever got knee surgery, after the surgery, William, my left leg was stiff like a 2x4, and I had no way of bending my leg. I didn't know how it was gonna bend. My mind, I couldn't move it. I didn't know. And on the bike that they sent to the house, there's a big red emergency button on it, like you could hit to stop it. And I'm thinking that once I get on this thing, my leg is gonna break. If anyone who's ever had any surgery, they know about it. If anybody who's thinking about getting it or has someone they know is gonna get it, you really have no idea how your leg is gonna bend. I couldn't move it. And I got on it, and this thing just moves it like it's moving a new part. It just kept moving it like a locomotive, and just keeps moving the knee, moving it, getting it looser and looser. Now you just got to keep following up on it, and I can't believe it's working. It's actually, the pain is basically gone. I stopped taking Percocets. They were fucking me up, excuse my French. I felt awful on those things. So I stopped taking the Percocets, and I think I'm just taking one for inflammation or something like that. I can't remember what it was. But I got rid of all the medication already. And what's that, 4 days, 5 days?
Yeah.
So I'm watching the finger motion again. All the time I'm talking to you, I always stare down. It's 206 bid, 300, there was 100 offered, now there's 400 offered. You can see that they always drop in a couple of hundred, this, 300, 500. There's always a sell. Always a sell. They always want the stock to show that it's down on the day. Oh, it's down 2 cents, 1 cent, a nickel, 2 cents, 1 cent. This stock has had a downtrend since they rang the bell on the NASDAQ, which is it's a monstrous event to be rewarded by being uplisted to the NASDAQ. It's a wonderful event. Since that time, the stock is down 50%. And they had 2 new contracts going there. One was the recharging platform, okay? And the other one was the addition to the emergency vehicles in China. Now, for that clown that wrote the story, I know nothing about the story. I'm sure he had plenty of good information about that, right? He had nothing probably to say about that. Am I correct, William? I don't know.
He didn't say. I mean, he was very misleading.
Right. So he has nothing to say about something that we're hearing that is a monstrous contract. They're the only one of its kind in China, and Shingamosha has it. So what's the revenue going to be from it? What's the cost? What's the profit from that? We don't know. We've heard it's big, but we don't know. We'll get to see soon when it's going to start to come out, and hopefully the CEO can talk about it. All right, I'm sure he will, and tell us about what the profit margin is going to be on how many emergency vehicles they have to install this thing on. All right, this is all good things for the company, but it's a $2 stock. Let's find a negative story because our friends need to cover. And then they go, they hit the 206 bid. I told you, it's 206, 207. Once they offer the 400, they're going to hit the bid. There's always a sell. Hurry up, let me sell. It's 200, 100, whatever it may be. I hope everybody can see the pattern. I hope you can live with this. It's not easy. I got it. But I promise we're going to do everything again to throw this fat fucking jail and make him eat his fucking words. And again, when I get Pat Byrne on the call, I think that's when everyone's going to get a little excited about what's going on here. And look at DJT again. It's up $1.30. This thing's going to screw one day up 10, 15 points. Okay? I don't understand the mindset. Okay, let's just talk about DJT for a second. You have to be insane to be shorting that stock. Insane. There's no reason. The company's got a couple $100 million in cash. Donald Trump came out there and said he's not selling his stock. That was one of the things they were saying people were selling. They were shorting it because they said the insiders are going to sell it. The insiders told you they're not selling it. I even told you they weren't selling it. The stock spiked to 21. They came back and whacked it again. they did another attempt on him. I mean, just insane what's going on there. The SEC, the DOJ, the FBI, they should be doing an investigation to anybody that's opening short positions in this thing. And those people should all be arrested. This is the stock market. It's like a criminal organization that's going on here. Just steal, do whatever you want. And they're using this as a cash machine. Just take whatever you like out anytime you want. That's what they're doing in finger motion. Someone's shorting it onshore, 1.7 million shares, and they're covering it. And who's selling it to them? The naked short, who's offshore. And the real short onshore is making money, whether it's 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. They don't care because they're just moving the loss offshore. What else, Wayne? Come on. Any other stocks you talk about? I'll talk about anything. Just change the subject while we're watching this one. GDC, keep an eye on it. I know guys that sold it, owned it the first time, sold it to the rip all the way up, started buying it back at $5.50, $6 range. They've been buying it all the way down. Okay. CJYL, I think that's going to have another run. I don't know when. You saw it have a quick run. I think that's just the beginning. I don't know when it's going to go. Same thing. TELO, you see what they're doing, life extending drug. Hurry up, let's sell it down. Stock went to 8.5. I don't understand who wants to sell that one either. I guess when your parents or your grandmother or your kid is dying, you want to extend their life, you don't give a shit. That's pretty normal stuff. The destruction of the U.S. equity markets is just amazing. CBM's been working on head and neck cancer. I never knew anything about it until my friend got it. They cut half his jaw out, half his tongue out. You can see how devastating it is. All right, now I know what the guy's working on, but still, the shorts keep knocking it down, kill the company, they don't care. People send me information about Northwest Fire all the time. It's a 33-cent stock. And they told me that the company is actually past the hurdle of the science, and it's just a matter of when they get the approval. It's 33 cents. Who gives a shit? Kill it. No one cares. MLGO, I don't know what this thing is, but it's 26 cents. Got a short that's enormous. Got $3 in cash. No one cares. This is like, if the numbers are correct and all these crazy things, there used to be people that would step in and take advantage of those opportunities. But this is like the Wild West. It's, how could you get a company trading with 17 million shares in the whole company, trade 112 million shares in one day?
Yeah.
Right? How could it be possible? It doesn't even make any sense. I have a stock. A good friend told us he owns a ball on names. I'm not allowed to say it. But the company is 120% owned by institutions. Remember, I like to report on the institutional ownership. I can't give you the symbol yet because I think they're trying to entrap the shorts to get bigger in that one. But imagine institutions that report ownership on 120% of 100%. And that's not counting retail investors or hedge funds or institutions that don't have to report. So that number could be not 120. I'll just make it up. Let's say it's 20% owned by retail. That gets it 140. 10% owned by other institutions. They're at 150% of the company's owned, but there's only 100% that could be owned. 150% is owned, but only 100% can be owned. All right, so these numbers, and this is a big board stock. All right, so I'll keep that on the wraps because I was told not to say anything about it, but I can give you the numbers because no one will ever know what it is. All right, so this is just not a small cap. This is not just a small cap of fraud, it's all over the place. There's too many shares in all the companies. There's counterfeit shares everywhere. And no one's settling the trades, and they exist everywhere. And the SEC wastes the whole day talking about everything, but stop settling. And you see it. Oh, we're working on this. We want to make sure the investor gets a better price when he buys the stock. So I don't want a better price. I'll pay the commission to settle the trades. They won't. As soon as you say that, they change the subject. Let me look at some of the things that I look at. What else am I looking at? GDC, this one, that one, that one. I don't know if that is. MLSS, let me check the quote there. 92 to 96. Nothing. No. This MLGO is now turning back up again. It's 27 cents. You know the information there. I told you to look at the nuclear power, this company. I don't know anything about it. Nancy Eddy. And do some searching. If you're looking for long-term investing, it was on Fox last night about the head of the U.S. Nuclear Energy Commission talking about other countries behind the nuclear power. This one looks like a nuclear energy company's $12 stock. What else? Kodak, nothing. AMC, GameStop, DJT's 14 something. KNW, T-Low I see is down. I have 300 stocks on a watch list, so it takes me a little time to scroll through it. But any other questions? Wait a second, William. We got a 5,000 share bid in Finger Motion, and there's 147,323. Let's keep it. Let me take a snapshot of this cutie, because this way we could see what they do. And this way we can now post it. This way we can see what they're going to do. I'm sorry, people, I can only go so fast. I wrote, what will they do? The buying's 147,323. It's 5,000 to buy, 200 off it. Normally, in a real market, when you see 5,000 to come in with a stock that's just thin, someone would come in and scoop up the 207 trade, the 200 shares, right?
Yeah.
What's the worst you could do, William? Let me buy a couple of hundred at 207. And if I don't like it, I can always sell it at 205. What's to lose 3 cents? What's to lose 2 cents, on 300 shares? It's no money, right?
Yeah.
That's the normal world. This is the bizarro world. I don't know what's going on. If I was trading money right now, you scoop it up. The worst I can do is sell it back at 205 if I don't want to lose it. I lose 3 cents on let's say there's 1,000 off it. I lose 2 cents on 1,000 shares if I want to go out. What's the risk? There's a buyer of 5,000. If the buyer of 5,000, they must have more to buy. We know the buyer of 5,000 has another 1.5 million to buy, because that's the real short trying to cover. And you say, how do you know it's the real short that wants to cover? Because what the 207 offer is standing there. It's the 2 shares. And basically he's telling you that we know it's the real short, and I'm the real short. I'm the naked short's at 107, 207, and the real short is bidding 205. You can tell by the no movement, it's telling you that the parties that are here. Nothing else, William?
I don't know if you want to talk about crypto.
433. So someone just bought 100 shares at 207. We went from 323 to 433. It's unfortunate we have to track these guys like the rats they are. But the stock market is an interesting place. We can follow them. We can see what they're doing. I know it's tedious. I know it sucks. But this is what I do, and this is how most people I know, we're trained the same way. When there's 200 shares for sale, and someone buys 100, isn't there 100 left for sale? I'm trying to figure that out. Does anyone understand that? There's 200 for sale, and let's do it like we're like a third grade class. There's 100 shares, there's 200 shares for sale, and William buys 100. How many are left? Right? It should be 100, right? Not on Wall Street. There's always another 100. Oh, there's another 100. There's another 100. Who in their right mind is sitting around all day moving 100 shares of stock around? Only a fraud. No one else would waste their time on this stuff. They go, Ken Griffin's here. Ken Griffin wouldn't waste his energy or anybody on his trading desk in a stock like this. This is strictly a low-level criminal organization doing this. There's some idiot that is as dumb as me on the other side doing exactly, I'm watching him do it, and he's watching me talk about it. So there's two idiots that go back and forth here. Till one gets busted. All right, so as soon as Jeff Houston gets busted, you'll say it's stop. I'll have a different look at it. Again, we will have Pat Byrne on the call, and we will take care of this whole thing. And we'll go from that point. Again, if you don't know Pat Byrne, Google him. I put up the videos, and you can see for yourself what it's all about. I'm on the move again, William, with my iPad and my walker. Reporting you live from the old age home.
You're going to have fun.
I'm going to be a perfect
You're
person.
going to learn how to play bocce ball.
I'm going to be a perfect client for the nursing home.
You are.
And all the people on this call are going to get stuck with me and have to listen to me in a nursing home. I'm just scooting around the house, trying to make sure you don't get a blood clot. That's what you have to do. After surgery. At least that's what I was told. All right, I'm in a different location now. All right, so I can talk from here now. Well, the market's down 270. Has a stock have they come back onto it? I don't know.
Let me look. I didn't know if high finance was this interesting.
Listen, I'm just trying to see what they're gonna do. You know, whether you're on the call with me or not, I appreciate anybody who has the capacity to still listen to this thing. I hope you're understanding and learning, you know, and it's just not going over your head. Because again, we're not going to be here much longer. You understand it. You can take this and understand any stock using these techniques.
Mm-hmm.
If you were talking to any one of my friends, and one of my friends were on this call, they would have hung up on you already because they would say, "Are you kidding me? You're still talking?" That's what they would say. Shut up already. Let's move on to something else.
I know their feeling.
I can't wait to get up the call and make my little sign and drop the day from whatever the hell day it is, 30 days to 29. That's all I can think about.
Right.
I'm super excited about Pat Byrne coming on board. And you guys don't believe it, but that's a godsend because I never in 1,000 years thought he would come back. Never, never. And if you talk about it, think about what we're saying. What are the probability Pat Burr would come back into this game? He's had enough of it for a long time. But he's back. Think about that. The short sellers, think about, okay, let me change it in a different way for everybody. Okay, I'm going to make it different. You're the short seller. You're laughing, saying, we control this whole game. And all of a sudden, you're going to have Donald Trump come in. He's going to fire the SEC, the head of the SEC. And then he's going to put Pat Byrne, the king of killing naked shorts, in charge of stock settlement. You talk about you're winning by 100-0. All of a sudden, now you're losing. Think about that reversal. Think about the odds of what just happened. Give me a second, William.
Your mother must have been very proud of you. What you're
That's
doing,
what it.
what you do all day.
Hey, listen, I'm injured. We're going to tell you. All right, 1.5 hours. We go from 30 trading days to 29. There you go. I'm making it official, so I'm ready. Thank you very much for everybody hanging in there. I just put up the number 29, and I said, fuck you, Jeff Easton. What else we got here? KMW, still standing tall. 27 to 27, 218,000 shares. Stock is worthless. I told you 90 cents it was worthless. How anybody, the company had 3 money raises. Two more money raises than Jeff Easton. Jeff Easton then benchmarked at $3.5 million, then another $1.5 million. They got more shares coming out in that stock. Anyone who buys a share of that thing is out of their bird. And there's nothing that's going to save that company. They're going to have to reverse their stock. CELU is a much better company, big working on infectious diseases. The guy was a trauma, a neurosurgeon, and they already went through the ring and got reversed too. So this guy working on his diabetes product has got a long way to go. You better start throwing some Hail Mary passes because there's nothing exciting here that's going to change the world. It may be a good thing for the people with diabetes, but they don't give a shit. The shorts kill it anyway. So you got to keep scooting around. DJYL doing nothing. GDC doing nothing, up a few pennies. DJT seems to be the hot stock of the day. It's 14.10. You know, what are there's 15 calls for Friday. Let's take a look there for a second while we're looking around. The 15 calls for Friday at 38 cents. 5,000 of them traded. Well, listen, based on all these crazy things that go on, maybe buying, 10 calls of the 15s. You're 90 cents away, you break even at 15.39. You got till Friday, you got Thursday and Friday. The option buying is picking up. And I don't think that the put activity is not that big. Put activity on the stock got wiped out already. So, maybe this thing starts to get some legs and go. Yeah, you've seen it happen in GameStop, right? What is it, Devin Nunes or Donald Trump speaks tonight about DJT? You never know when it comes out, right? I wish I knew. All right, it sounds like everybody's dead in the water.
Now, I don't know what the questions are.
I mean, those are the type of things. That's how I think. It's 1410, 1409, 14 whatever. I'm not going to buy a 14 call. Let me buy the out of the money call, the 15 call. You know, if I'm trading and I'm up money, you take a shot, you buy the 14. I won't buy the 14 and a half, the 57 cents. If I bought 100 of them, I paid 38, 37 cents. I put up $3,700. If the stock takes off, opens at 18, I make 30,000, and I put up $3,700. That's how I do it. Right? What's the likelihood the stock can squeeze? Right? Well, it's down from goddamn $50. There's a probability you can squeeze to 20. Right? At least recoup some of it, you know, in the short term. Did it happen in 2 days? Why not? It went down that fast. Why can't it go back that fast? And in finger motion, watch him paint dry again. I told you, the only trades that are going on with some small investors coming and buying, which is great. They pick it off. Again, you saw the 207, someone bought 100, and there's more than 200 for sale because the naked short is standing there. All right, that could be someone at 206 trying to buy 100, 200 shares. You notice they never show the bid size. All right, the only time they show it is when the naked short is buying. They show 5,000, 8,000, then they cross it. All right, I guess we'll leave everybody. It's 2:30. I talked for 5 hours, and I'll go on the bike. I'll do my ride, and again, we're down to 29 trading days. They can sit there and say all they want. The heat is on them, not on me. I'm not worried about it. Finger motions in the Chinese market. I think that the company is going to survive no matter what happens. They don't need Wall Street to fund them anymore. Have nothing to do with it. Their businesses, they got their clients, their relationships. I told you Roth Capital yesterday, William. I don't know if I told you. Roth Capital is a firm that my friends work at, and they had a call with the company, and I hope to see a research report out of them. I don't control it. And I'm told big data is a big part of the conversation, and I was told to keep an eye on that. And so that tells me that the big data numbers are coming, right? Which is a great thing for all of us, because Munich Re, Pacific Life Re, and we'll start to see what they're starting to pay for this data. Snowflake is a big data company. It's worth $55 billion. All right? But yet, these guys, between Capybara, Lynn Partners, and their friends, whoever this guy wrote the reports, they don't pay attention to any of those partnerships. They never talk about anything about it. All the partnerships the company has are friendship partners. We're going to be friends. We're not going to make any money. We're going to be friends. What was in that movie, The Wolf of Wall Street, when, I forget that girl's name, but she's dating Leonardo DiCaprio. She goes, well, we're going to be friends? He goes, yeah, we'll be friends. She goes, we're not going to be friends. That reminds me of the relationship between Finger Motion and Munich Re and Pacific Life Re. They're not going to be friends. They're here to make money. They need the data. Finger Motion has the data, and they're going to sell it to those guys. What are they going to make from it? I don't know. We'll see when it comes out. It's got to be more than zero, because right now we're being priced that they're not going to make a penny. There's another 100 shares when it goes off at 207. So 200 shares pays at 207, and the offer is still 200 shares. Isn't that strange? So no one's representing anything that they are representing. Isn't that crazy? Oh, a few thousand just went off now, William. Get with the program, William. What was the amount that I just put up before that? It was 147. We're at 151, so we got another 4,000 shares just went off at 207. Right, and it's still offered at 207. Isn't that the strangest thing? Wait, you don't find this fascinating at all?
I'm riveted.
This is how I think all day, so you know. And come on, what do you need me to cheer you up with?
Something moving.
guys, see, William is exactly showing his cards. William is showing his cards. He wants action. He should be trading Bitcoin, William, up and down,
I just want passion.
You want action. William has become a disgusting stock trader. He needs action like everybody else. I am the stock trader, and I don't care about the action anymore. I'd rather see grass grow. All right, so I just put it out there. 4,000 shares traded at 207. The offer is still 200 shares. Isn't that amazing? And what that tells you, everybody, is they're watching the trades.
They did 4,000 at 207.
All right, so the 4,000 they did at 207. How did they know there was 4,000 to sell at 207? Isn't that amazing how they knew? Let's buy 4,000 at 207. I know there's 4,000 there because I see 200, but if you multiply it by 2,000, that means it's 4,000. Whatever kind of math they're trying to figure out, it's like a science test. These guys are making up their own math that they have to. They can't get. It's a multiple choice test, but you have to show your work, and they can't show how they got the 4,000. That's exactly what it is. It's all prearranged trading. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm boring everybody, and I don't want to do that. But I'll keep posting. I changed the number. We're going from 30 to 29 days. Remember, everyone, I started at 90. Remember? 90 trading days?
Mm-hmm.
90 plus?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're down to 29. I know time is flying by. I hate it. We're all getting older. I'm not happy about it. But I am happy that I'm getting closer to putting a stake in the devil here. That's all I care about. And like I said, anytime he wants to meet, we'll meet in Brooklyn anytime he wants to show up. Jeff Houston and Phil Lavalier and his crew. Come on down. All right, they took it. They took the 200 shares, William. It's now over to 208. It's a major move going on. All right. People, you got free inside information. SEC puts people in jail for inside information if you trade on it. You have it. The next president of the United States told you he's coming out. He's going to fire the chairman of the SEC day one. Hold on, we got a couple of news. Here it is. We got some great news here. We can just go through this. The SEC obtains final judgment in insider trading case. A Canadian citizen, Oliver Barrett Lindsay, in advance of a long blockchain company formerly known as Long Island Iced Tea. I remember that scam. It was going to pivot from his existing blah, 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 blah. He signed a confident. He purchased 35,000 shares of the stock. He made 160,000. Busted. Insider trading got busted on that. That's Eric J. Watson. Insider trading. Wow, busted. Let's see what the next one is. Baba Napala, whatever it is, former CEO. A $30 million fraud. This is a good one. This guy made up his own numbers as the CEO of a company. All right, that's a different type of fraud. So that's a guy who was the CEO of a company. He inflated his numbers and he got busted for that. So you're destroyed by CEOs that make up numbers. There's naked short selling. The stock market is a cesspool, my friends. And when CEOs put in videos, and that's what I like to talk about for a second, Wade. Martin Chen has been pretty forward with everybody and videos. He's basically confessing, putting it on tape, everything that he's saying. You could be using a court of law against him, right? I think so, right? How many other CEOs do you see putting out videos? Sitting, talking about what their business is, what they're doing. All their press releases are on the tape. I'm sure they need to make up the story that Munich Re has agreed to do a deal with them on data, or Pacific Life Free, or the AIZ. All these companies, I'm sure it's all true, because otherwise they'd be shut down for fraud. But yet, Capybara, Lynn Partners, whatever this idiot that's writing these fake reports on Seeking Alpha, they have no idea. They do no legwork. They just go out anything you like. I could write a negative story about any company you like. BJT, Donald Trump, his friends is selling stock, get out of the way, be careful, they're being investigated for fraud. You could say anything you like. You could do it all day long. Just copy anybody of the other short reports and write the same thing, just change the symbol. Right? Freedom of speech. You can say whatever you like, right? I remember DVA, DeVita. Wow, look at that stock. Dog Victor Apple, William. Jim Kanos, the famous short seller. He wrote when the stock was 58 that his company was a insurance fraud, a scam. Stock went to 53. I posted it on Twitter before I got booted off one of my other numbers, whatever it was. I got booted off saying that this company is either going to 125 or it's going to be zero. But guess who owns it all? Warren Buffett. He tried to knock out that company. It went to 164. Jim Kanos had people, probably long-term holders, selling it because they believed it was an insurance fraud. This was a couple years ago. Now it's $165. He never said a word about it again. He never got prosecuted for it. He called it a fraud. Just go Google it yourself. Dog Victor Apple, the Vita. I remember when he put it out. I posted about it. He knocked it down 3.5 points. He probably covered on that. Jim Kanos, since that time, has retired from short selling. I wonder why. He was the best, and he quit. We have the worst. Jeff Easton, and he's still standing around? Are you kidding me? Jeff Easton is the worst. As they said, you know, as most people would say on Wall Street, I took a shit yesterday this morning, Jeff Easton. Excuse my French, everybody. But that's the truth. No one sits around naked shorting or shorting a $2.20 stock. Again, I told you the volatility's got to go to the upside, not to the downside. They keep doing it the same pattern, trying to push it down. It's got to go to the upside. I'm sorry, everybody. I just keep talking and talking and talking. But this, to me, is like working on the trading desk. We sit there, we keep talking all day until we finish and we walk out the door. That's how it works. This is how being a professional on Wall Street works. Not being a scam, like Jeff Houston, just hitting the sell button, or Charlie Mayo, or the Kramers. These guys are all scams. I could just hit a sell button all day long, and I can listen, I told you if I was a short seller, I drive the stock up, have you all cheering, and as you come in to buy it, and I short the shit out of it, and I really destroy it. But these guys are too stupid, or they don't have the money to do that. That's why they keep trying to hold it down. Because they're broke and they don't have the money to play the game. I told you, whoever taught them, they're all low-life criminals. They have no money, and they're just flooding the market with shares and just trying to drive it down. If it goes up on them, they're all screwed. And when you don't have the money to cover your margin calls, like ZJYL, the guy was short, he didn't deliver. Someone bought him in, whether it was a couple 100,000, and they bought him up, went up 1.5 points in a second. That's what you call a buy-in. That's what it looks like, a buy-in. Imagine buying in 230 million shares in 1 second. What's going to happen? And there's no selling. Remember, the sellers can't, they're wiped out. That's what happens. They get crushed. All right, William, I'll leave everybody with that. When you see the same thing I have, their fake story, again, is just trash. The company's earnings are coming out October 11th. Today is September 25th. We're not far. How many days to that? Wait, hold on a second. Let's see. Hold on a second. Let's try to get this all out. Let's get it all out. All right, so we got today, we got 2 more days to this week, and we got 2. We got next week another 5, 7, 10. We got like 12 days until the earnings come out on the 11th. I think I can hang in there another 10, 12 days on for the earnings and finger motion. All right, we got 29 days to the election. I can hang in on that. We're going to get Pat Byrne to speak. Hopefully the CEO gets back to William and he can speak. And we'll get an update on that dividend, what's going on from the company. We can find out what the hell's going on there. I put up a press release that the company is going to do the dividend. I don't know what happened, but we'll get that information. And we'll go from there. And we'll see what happens. All right, William, I'll let you go.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Feel better.
Thank you.
Call ended.
Anyway, I don't know what to say. We were talking about the report written by Michael Dean or something, Michael Dione, Michael whatever. Waste of time. I'm not going to read any more of it. I don't know what else to talk about really. That takes a lot out of me. Going over the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. But I understand the need to do it. It's just, I get worn out by it. Because I stopped learning a while ago. But I know it took me years to learn everything. That's why I'm now I know everything. No, just kidding. Just kidding. And I just don't know what else to talk about. I'm a little bit worn out. We can try to go to 3 o'clock, I suppose. I just don't know what to talk about. I could see if that stupid finger motion article is still here. It is. This is just a crap report. He's a manipulative, lying son of a bitch. Verdict. Finger Motion's core business fell to nearly zero in the prior period. Look, there's no question the business that Finger Motion focused on was their top-up business. It's low margin. It is their core business. I think it's how they outsmarted Lynn Partners because they took that cash, they buy minutes, and they resell them, and they do it over and over and over again. But it's how they made their contacts with everybody in China. So anyway, their core business fell to nearly zero in the prior period. All right, it's gone. I lost the link, so I'm not interested enough to reread that. So I think I'm going to sign off. It's 2:48. Don't know what else to talk about. I've tried to interest people in silver and gold. We went through those stuff. I guess it's just about waiting. I expect there could be news in everything from logic to CAUD to finger to next bridge hydrocarbons. Somebody asked me, what did Anna win? I think it was an important procedural win, but it doesn't, I don't know that it changes anything immediately for everyone. But Mark Bazile is making real progress at changing the facts on the ground, the facts in court, and that's terrific. I'm glad that Not Legal Advice joined for a while. It looks like that's great news on GTII. And I don't know what else to really focus on. I guess it's as good a time as any to sign off. So please pray for peace in the world. Pray that people, the various armies and terrorists and bad guys can stand down around the world. And we'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.